We shall now have the opportunity for a moment of silence for prayers and meditation. Thank you so much. Good morning, honorable members. Today is a very good morning that we're proceeding with the business of the legislature. Before we proceed, honorable members will remember that yesterday we had some issue that needed to be attended to. I will now refer members to Rule 103 before we start with the proceedings. Where the rule says right of member to speak, a member may speak in any official languages of the province to a question before the House, to an amendment proposed question, to a question or amended proposed to be proposed by himself or herself, lastly, to a point of order or a matter of privilege. In Limpopo, while in South Africa we've got 11 official languages, Limpopo recognizes the 6 official languages. Those languages are Sepedi, Chivenda, Xitsonga, Isindebele, English, and Afrikaans. On that note, we have introduced the system you have. You have a translation services in those 6 languages. You can utilize your own, what do you call it? The earphones. You can connect to the system. As and when somebody is utilizing a language that you think you need interpretation, you are free to put on the ear so that you can listen to the interpretation, because the interpretation has been provided. The only thing, people were not able to hear it. So we're raising that matter to ensure that we don't have a difficulty where members are not able to express themselves in the language that they prefer. So on that note, we are pleading that these earphones, we should not live with them. Please, when we leave the sitting, let's leave them where they are, because the intention, we're going to mount them so that they are not movable, so that we are able to make sure that the system operates well. We shall now move to the orders of the day. The programming committee has agreed that item 2, which is motion without notice, Rule 145, item 3, notice of motion, Rule 146, item 4, statements by members, Rule 199, Rule 5, item 5, executive statements, Rule 200. They are all suspended so that we can be able to proceed with the debates, as the order looks very long. We now shall proceed and now move to item 6 on the order paper. And even the tabling of the reports, there is none. We'll now proceed to item 7, consideration and adoption of the following report of the Portfolio Committee of Provincial Treasury, Committee Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I can see that Aluwongo is so selective. Okay, my greetings to you, Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker that I haven't seen, I think I'll say on absentia, as well as the Honorable Premier, Dr. Matuba, the executive members of the Limpopo Legislature, chairpersons of all various portfolio committees, members of the legislature, as well as members of the public. Greetings to you all and Khotswabelelena. Honorable Speaker, I rise to present before this House the reports on the following, which is the 2022-2023 for consideration adoption by the Provincial Treasury that is tabled before you.
Shall I now call for the seconder? Honorable Mokaba.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Ke le Honorable Mokaba, ke ema fa go thekga seo se bolelago ke modulasetulo wa tša ditšhelete ka seo a se boletšeng. Ke a leboga.
Thank you so much. We can allow the chair to see it because we're now going to refer to the speaker's list. To sit at a chair, Chairperson, you will come back later. In terms of the speaker's list, the person who's opening the debate, it's Honorable Machomani Jemina Daly. The chair was right. The Malibongo is selective. Honorable member, you have got 10 minutes. Your 10 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Member Mama Krupecha, Honorable Deputy Speaker in absentia, Mamurobela Tebogo, the Honorable Premier in absentia too, Dr. Popi Ramatuba. Receive revolutionary greetings as well as the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip. The members of the ESCO, chairpersons of committees, and all the honorable members present in this house from different political parties. Madam Speaker, let me remind the August House that we as a legislature are an expression of the will of the people of Limpopo. The Portfolio Committee on Treasury is at the core of driving prioritization, financial management, and oversight of the Limpopo public purse. I also want to remind the chairperson, the Honorable Mdaga, the chairperson of Sports, Art and Culture, that Treasury is the backbone of all the committees. And you are obliged to make sure that the MEC, Honorable Mahwai, receive his ticket to the festival. The Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury has a constitutional obligation to oversee performance of the provincial treasury in the province. Guided by the obligation, the committee interacted with the Department of Provincial Treasury to consider the second quarter performance report of 2022-2023 financial year on the 8th of September 2024. Honorable Speaker, we are gathered in this August House few weeks after the tabling of the 2024 medium-term budget policy statement by the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana on the 30th of October 2024. The purpose of the medium-term budget policy is to allow government departments to apply for their budget adjustment, allow them to apply for rollovers, and request for additional funding for unforeseen circumstances, as well as avoiding unnecessary expenditures. The 2022-2023 annual report reflects the extent to which the department kept its commitment of maintaining good governance and financial cleanliness in the province as a whole. Though the department's audit opinion has regressed from unqualified to qualified with matters of emphasis, the department sustained clean audit for 5 years before regressing, and we hope that it will multiply its effort to go back to obtaining clean audit opinion. Honorable Speaker, the department generated a revenue of 448,849 in the 2022-2023 financial year, as compared to 526 and 64 revenue generated for the year 2021 and 2022 financial year. We have throughout the entire 2022-23 financial year strived to serve as an example to other departments by maintaining sound financial discipline and to encourage other provincial departments to contribute to the overall improvement in our provincial fiscal practices. On aligning ourselves with the ANC initiative to fight corruption at all costs, the department had put some mechanism in place to counter fraud, corruption, and conflict of interest among officials, as well as compulsory declaration directive of financial interest for employees who are doing business with the state by pre-screening of employment candidates before appointment. On improving audit outcome, consequence management, and performance management in general, the department has appointed an independent audit committee that oversees the performance of risk management committees, which were set to ensure proactive risk solution through continuous monitoring, assessment, and identification of emerging risk, as well as curbing them. One of the key responsibilities of the provincial treasury is to enhance financial governance across all departments and public entities. Therefore, for the year 2022-2023, the financial governance unit was allocated enough budget to build trust among stakeholders by enhancing accountability and compliance with the attainable and sustainable financial norms and standards. This unit plays a pivotal role in supporting provincial financial management information system and providing guidance on risk management practices. Its focus on the implementation of the 2025 audit improvement strategy is particularly crucial as we work towards eliminating qualified audit opinions and increasing the number of clean audits across the province. To strengthen governance structures, Madam Speaker, the allocation within this program will be used to support shared audit committee, oversight bodies, and departments with financial accounting and audit matters. Additionally, it will enable the provincial treasury to undertake forensic investigation and monitor the implementation of effective risk management practices in all departments and public entities. In this regard, the ANC welcomes the strategic move to centralize the appointment and remuneration of independent risk management committee chairperson within the provincial treasury. This initiative will ensure uniform and standard risk reporting frameworks, thereby enhancing overall oversight and enterprise risk management. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, yesterday, the 21st November 2024, the MEC of Treasury, Honorable Mahwai, presented the adjustment budget for our consideration. Our role as members of the legislature is to consider whether the budget has been adjusted to cater for the current realities, taking into consideration the status of our provincial pairs. It is therefore imperative that they remain objective in our consideration. This is the people's budget, not our budget. Ke a leboga, Madam Speaker, ngiyathokoza. Thank you very much.
Nathi siyathokoza mama. Thank you so much. Deputy Chief Whip, it looks like today you are in a real GNU. Can we request Honorable Smale, Frederick, to come and present?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and on behalf of the GNU, I will lead the discussions today. As we discussed 2020-23, which is the end of the sixth administration, Honourable Speaker, I think it's important that we also take stock at where we ended and where we are going forward. Taking stock of the sixth administration, it is evident that while the Treasury Department has shown commendable commitment in allocating and monitoring budgets, despite limited human resources capacities, other departments and state-owned entities such as health, COGTA, education, GOL and ROL have fallen significantly short during that period. Despite repeated calls for stronger internal controls, compliance with regulations on supply chain management processes, banking and cash flow management remained unachieved. This is reflected in irregular expenditure, which rose by 2.7 billion rand to a staggering of 18.6 billion rand. Departments collectively spent 66.55 billion rand on operating expenditure and 273 billion rand on capital expenditure, but their inefficiencies caused substantial harm to this province. Reason for some of the six administration's failures under these departments was the instability at HOD level, significant delays in project completion, hampering service delivery and leading to contractors claiming millions of rands in standing cost, deteriorating infrastructure due to the delayed maintenance, delays in developing and implementing financial recovery plans, inadequate skills and capacity to plan, monitor, and complete infrastructure projects, slow progress in investigating irregular, fruitless, wasteful expenditure. Additionally, 26% of KPIs in the provincial planning documents were unreliable for audited purposes. Some of the department's underperformances during the financial year, like was the District of Health Services only achieving 49% of its KPI targets, COGTA 55.6% of its targets, education 57%, despite spending 98% on their allocated budgets. Furthermore, some departments incorrectly applied the consumer price, inflating prices by up to 47%, causing significant losses. This breach of the PFMA guidelines resulted in more fruitless and wasteful expenditure. On accountability, the failure to hold officials and bidders accountable for misrepresentation has further entrenched non-compliance. The AG has confirmed these issues, highlighted that poor project planning and monitoring were pervasive weakness across these departments. Examples of failed weak internal controls due to incompetent oversight from heads of departments are the roll contract, roll T634-2 2016. This project upgrade of gravel roads to bitumen surfaces was abandoned due to roll's 2 billion rand overcommitment linked to a pyramid scheme. Communities resorted to using paving bricks for their construction of their houses. The Maputo Malachi hospitals' weak internal controls resulted in additional 131 million rand in cost, with a further 15 million rand worth of X-ray equipment left unused. Lemana College, initially budgeted at 36.5 million rand, poor oversight led to a second contractor being appointed, an additional cost of 30.1 million rand, causing 21.8 million rand in wasteful expenditure. These are but a few examples of billions of rands of squandered with no punitive measures taken against those responsible officials. Our healthcare is an ICU, an
Honorable
ideal
Small,
hospital.
while you round up the debate.
An ideal hospital with good infrastructure, not only physical conditions and the space, but as well as health technology, information and communication technology, adequate bulk supplies, and appropriate management to maintain vehicle fleet. Yet, the province healthcare system is in critical condition, with only 2 out of 30 hospitals, district hospitals, meeting 7% of the requirements for ideal hospital status. As we go into the 7th administration, the pressing question is whether the provincial administration will succeed in shifting from a culture of impunity to one of accountability, fostering an ethical and capable governance framework. Without decisive action, Limpopo faces the risk of once again being placed under Section 100. The people of Limpopo deserve a government committed to responsible, accountable governance and to promote growth and effectively address.
Thank you so much. I will just plead with members that let's look at the time so that we don't exceed the time allocated. I'm not seeing anyone from the EFF. I will now proceed to the chair of the committee to close the debate, Honorable Solomon Maseko Piedi. Members, don't be jealous. Thank you.
Thank you once more, Honorable Speaker, and all protocol observed. Honorable Speaker, we are meeting in this Honorable House a day after the tabling of the 2024 Limpopo Adjustment Appropriation Bill by MEC Honorable Khabu Mawai, which we believe it will bring a sense of renewal, commitment, and an improvement on the expenditure patterns of our departments. What is encouraging in his presentation was positive upward move in budget adjustment to almost all the departments. This positive move is not happening by an accident, Honorable Speaker. It is what we call in Latino or Latin, labora omnia vincit, which in simple terms means labor conquers everything. To make it more simple, it means hard work pays. It means our department has done so well to make sure that we get more income into the fiscus of our government. Honorable Speaker, the 2022-2023 financial year's annual report reflects an extent to which the Limpopo Provincial Treasury has performed for the entire year. The department has resiliently kept its commitment of maintaining good governance and giving unwavering financial support to other departments. Once more, Honorable Speaker, to respond as well to Honorable Smalley, we are all guided by the Public Finance Management Act of 1999 and its related policies, which serve as a GPS. It is so pleasing to find out that this department is not using common sense in doing its mandated work. I stand with pride before this August House to express our unwavering support to the Provincial Treasurer's efforts to uphold to the principles of sound financial management and good governance. The NC-led government remains committed to working hand in hand with the Provincial Treasury and all other stakeholders to ensure that our province continues to move forward on a path of sustainable development, social justice, and economic empowerment for all, which will ultimately or finally lead to a capable state. However, Honorable Speaker, the department for this year, 2022-2023, the department has regressed from unqualified audit opinion to qualified audit opinion with matters of emphasis. The qualified audit opinion came as a result of lack of internal control deficiencies, omission of financial statements, failure to fill critical positions within a department, and incurred expenditure from the previous years, which could not be resolved and was not captured in the financial statements. Honorable Speaker, once more, one of the critical roles played by the department is through the program of municipal support guided by the Municipal Finance Management Act of 56 of 2003, whereby the department is mandated to ensure that the support to municipalities through the municipal finance component must be uploaded because the department has committed itself to strengthen its capacity and performance on municipal support by increasing personnel. This will ensure that the municipalities implement internal controls, recommendations from both internal audit committee as well as the Auditor General's office. This will enhance an effective delivery of service delivery to our communities as well as improving the audit outcomes. As I speak, Honourable Speaker, on this one, very soon, the portfolio will be submitted a proposal on which the portfolio committee be at least turned into a standing committee so that it can have more extended mandate to even to go to the level of municipalities to track the finance that we also give to the municipalities and other spheres of government, including the departments. Honorable Speaker, in terms of 30 days payment compliance to service providers, the department has achieved 100% rate for all verified invoices, and the departmental rate for the year stood at 99.4%, meaning the suppliers were paid on time. Normally, this will get a clap of hands, normally. Honorable Speaker, during the year, because I'm saying that because it makes a huge difference to our emerging SMEs who might struggle to survive for a month without getting any payment. That's why I say it deserves a very round of applause. Thank you, Economic Development, you understand better. Honorable Speaker, during the year under review, the department successfully allocated and monitored the provincial budget across all the departments with 98% of the budget spent by the year end. Through its working relationship with the Office of the Premier, Treasury managed to reduce the compensation of employees from provincial expenditure of 66.8% to 66.1%. Once more, Honorable Speaker, the province is still challenged with a recurring expenditure across various departments in the province, with issues from as far as during the Section 100B, as the Portfolio Committee, we learned that, pardon me, Speaker. The province is still challenged with a recurring expenditure across the various departments in the province, with issues from as far as during the Section 100B. I wish my fellow leaders were here. The Section 100B, I think we all know what happened. The people who collapsed the Limpopo province are not here today, Honorable Speaker. Both Lawrence, that's the line. Once more, as the Portfolio Committee, we learned with dismay that the expenditure incurred during that period are without supporting documents. As such, this will remain unresolved for years and years to come. However, the province must find it a legal way of having this expenditure cleaned from the books of the province. What we are saying, if we were to simplify this one, is that during the Section 100B, the administration that was deployed in Limpopo province left the province without any trace of whatever service rendered with supporting documents. And as such, this will be taking for years and years, at the donkey years, before it can be resolved. Therefore, we are calling as the portfolio committee that the department finds a way of clearing the books of the province so that we can move on a positive note. Honorable Speaker, as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury, allow me to move for the consideration and adoption of the 2022-2023 annual report as reports of this Honorable House. I so moved. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Chair, in future, when you address, you must address the chair, not members of the house. Yeah. It's unparliamentary to address members, not addressing the chair. Today, I will be a little bit, I hope you're not going to leave, Chair. If you can sit there, because I will allow you to proceed with the next debate. Then the MEC will respond later. But I just wanted to mention a point that today it looks like it's not going to be much hectic, so I'm not going to be strict on the time. But manage your own time yourselves, please. You know the time allocated, manage it so that I don't have to stop anyone, so that we're able to manage time ourselves. I'm not necessarily very strict, but please, let's manage time ourselves. I will now allow the chair of the committee to proceed on 7.2. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much once more, Honorable Speaker. You know, during our school days, we were facing a situation where learners will copy from each other. And what will normally happen is that other learners will even copy your name. So you'll find that there are two answer sheets of the same name, because that's why I'm having the to and fro movements. Last time, you'll urge our people to submit all the reports at the same time. So I crammed that one. That's what I copied. Today, that's why I'm like that learner who will copy everything from the student next to him or her. And now, Honorable Speaker, I rise again to this August House for the consideration and adoption of the following reports. That is the 2023 and 2024 first quarter report on the Department of Treasury. So I submit.
Any seconder, honorable members? Honorable Nempumbuluni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Nempumburuni. I stand here to second the consideration and adoption of 2023-2024 second quarter report. Thank you.
What have you presented?
Honorable Speaker, I presented the first quarter report of the 2023-2024.
Can we have the seconder for the first quarter report? Nempumuluni, just correct that you are seconding the first quarter report.
My apology, Honorable Speaker. I stand here to second the 2023-2024 first quarter report.
Thank you so much. Chair, you can proceed with the next report, 7.2.2.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand before this House again for the submission of the consideration and adoption of the reports of the Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury, which is the 2023-2024 second quarter report.
Thank you so much. Any seconder? Honorable Metle.
Very much, Honorable Speaker. I, Honorable Metle, hereby seconding the second quarter report as presented by the chairperson of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next report, Chair, 7.2.3.
Once more, Honorable Speaker, I submit to this House a consideration and adoption of the report of the Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury, which is 2023-2024 third quarter report, the third quarter report.
Any seconder to the report? Honorable Shai.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I rise to second the consideration and adoption of the 2023-2024 third quarter of the Provincial Treasury Department as presented by the committee chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair of the committee, Honorable Piedi. We shall now move to the speakers list. The honorable member who's opening the debate is Honorable Mokaba Mapula Ana.
Honorable Chair, Anna Kilibitola Society is not my name. Honorable Speaker, I would like to start with a quote by Barack Obama. Open quote. A budget is more than numbers on a page. It is an embodiment of our values and priorities. Close quote. This quote set the tone discussing the Limpopo Provincial Treasury's quarterly report, emphasizing the importance of aligning financial planning with the needs and aspirations of the people. It reminds your audience that budgets are not just technical documents, but a reflection of commitments to service delivery and economic growth. Honorable Speaker, MEC is present here, Deputy Chief Whip, honorable members from all political parties, guests in our gallery, good morning. Khozo. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury has a constitutional mandate and obligation to oversee the general performance of provincial treasury in the province. Guided by this constitutional mandate, the committee will from time to time have an interaction with the department to discussing and consider quarterly performance report. The purpose of quarterly performance report is to give information regarding progress made on implementing the key targets and goals as set in the annual performance plan on a quarterly basis. Honorable Speaker, for the 2023-2024 first quarter, the department performance data was analyzed by the Strategic Management Directorate, which focus on alignments of targets against the APP, analyzing the performance report by comparing the actual achievements against the department's planned outputs, and also to provide feedback to branches within the department for clarity on non-alignment of targets and non-compliance. Incomplete reporting. For the first quarter, the department had 19 targets aligned to its program, and all of them were achieved as planned. The committee received a detailed report on compliance to supply chain management processes, on quotations management, bids management, contract management, reporting and administration of SCM processing in general for all departments and entities as resolved in the second and third quarter. However, the management of contingent liability and the status quo of the second quarter remained. It was found that the amount of contingent liabilities was standing at 9 billion, whereby there were 142 new claims estimated to the value of 661.6 million received. 5 claims to the value of 2.089 million were already settled, with another 5 claims to the value of 393,000 were cancelled or withdrawn. The closing balance as at the end of the report under review was 2,376 cases estimated at 10.159 billion. Legal costs incurred from the first quarter to the third quarter was recorded at 5.28 million, which is not a true reflection, as some departments like health did not submit the required figures despite numerous follow-up. It was reported to the committee that assessment on strategic procurement targets, asset management, cash and supply chain management were conducted in 16 provincial public institutions in the province. The department from time to time updates the committee on contingent liability and plans on how to keep them. Honorable Speaker, SCM and system, which is program 3 of the department, with its purpose being to oversee the management of asset liability and supply chain management to provincial department and public entities. The program was allocated 54.077 million and expenditure in the quarter amounted to 10.552 million, or 20% of the allocation. During the engagement with the department, the committee found that there were still challenges on SCM compliance by departments and entities, compliance of PFMA regarding banking processes and cash flow management. The committee therefore recommended that internal control should be strengthened to ensure that officials in departments comply with regulations thereof, and that provincial treasury should regularly monitor compliance and provide feedback to the committee. A report detailing compliance assessment levels in department and entities was duly submitted to the committee in the quarter under review. The department tried its best on monitoring the compliance level on banking, cash and liabilities management by the other departments and entities. There were positive strides made amidst for some minor noticeable challenges. Cash flow management of department for the committee found that requests to process invoices were made on run dates, which is something that was prohibited, but it was largely attributed by the pre-scheduled systems downtimes and late submission of invoices on rates and taxes. On banking management of public entities, it was found that all public entities were not in formal contractual arrangement with their bankers in terms of treasury regulation on procurement processes. Provincial Treasury therefore advised that entities should join the current provincial banking contract for provision of commercial banking to Limpopo provincial government, but they did not heed to the advice. Cash flow management of entities mandates all schedules 3C public entities, Limpopo Gambling Board, Limpopo Tourism Agency and Road Agency Limpopo to have cooperation for public deposit account with South African Reserve Bank for investment purposes. They are required to invest their surplus on daily basis unless exempted by National Treasury. Of the three aforementioned entities, RAL had recently opened the CPD account but has not started with daily surplus investment. On debt management, no findings were made in all three public entities during the quarter under review. The committee received a detailed report on compliance to SCM processes on quotation management, bid management, contract management, SCM reporting, and administration of SCM processes in general for all departments and entities as resolved in the previous quarter. It was reported that assessment on strategic procurement targets, asset management, cash and supply chain management were conducted in 16 provincial public institutions in the province. There should a concerted effort by departments and entities to ensure that implementation of mitigation plans is given a due consideration to avoid recurrence of non-compliance on supply chain management processes and reduce the rates at which contingent liabilities are recurring. The department has to this point performed better on its vision and mandate, which is to have a sustainable financial stability and accountability in the province. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, let us never forget that good governance is not measured by the number we spend, but by the lives which we change. This encapsulates the essence of the Limpopo Provincial Treasury effort, reminding everyone that the ultimate goals of fiscal management is improving the quality of life for the people of the province. It leaves a hopeful and purpose-driven message. On this note, Honorable Speaker, allow me to request this Honorable House to consider and adopt the first, second, third quarter reports for the 2023-2024 financial year as reported of this House. So move. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mukaba. We really appreciate for managing our time well, while we allow Honorable Jacobos Frederick Smale to take the podium.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, we meet at a time when 93% of our settlements in Limpopo face severe challenges with water supplies. Mayors and municipal managers are unable to identify and prioritize budgets needs to monitor, manage and improve water supply. In many instances, the government has failed to uphold our and their constitutions. Local government has failed the people of Limpopo, and so has this August House. 2 million people in Limpopo cannot find employment, and they know that as their economy worsens, so do their chances of ever securing a job. Limpopo recorded the highest differences between the expanded and official unemployment rates of 15.1 percentage points, largely due to uncertainty in government policy and implementation. Comparing quarter 4 of 2023 to quarter 1 of 2024, Limpopo experienced the largest unemployment percentage increases of 2.4%, now standing at 32.7%. The profound sadness of our current situation is this: there is absolutely no justifiable reason for us to be where we are today. Our financial management concerns are revenue analysis at the end of December 2023 showed collected revenue amounting to 1.5 billion rand, or 83%, reflecting an excess of 112.4 million rand, or 5.8%. However, issues in the banking and cash management at the end of quarter 3 of the 2023-24 financial year are a cause of concern. These include high levels of claims against the state and slow turnaround in court cases, weak debt management, including delayed debt creation, prescriptions of debts, and improper write-offs. Non-participation of Schedule 3C public entities into intergovernmental cash coordinations to optimize returns on cash surpluses at the South African Revenue Bank. Public entities operating without formal banking relationships as required by the PFMA and Treasury regulations. Overall, most departments' supply chain management systems are unable to effectively handle contract management to prevent officials from doing business with government. The Treasury budget appropriation for Program 2 stands at 80.8 million rand, or 17%, a 2% decrease from a total budget of 478.1 million rand. Section 114 of the Constitution mandates the legislature to maintain oversight, can no longer afford to deprioritize Program 2 at the expense of monitoring and supporting all government departments and local governments. If this legislature is serious about improving the welfare of this province, we must provide greater operational and financial support to the Department of Provincial Treasury. Our state-owned entities, this House resolved that state-owned entities must achieve financial self-sustainability by by the end of 24-25 financial year. This aligns with the Government of National Unity and National Treasury stance of providing no further bailouts to state-owned entities. Municipal reporting challenges, non-compliance with reporting requirements by municipalities remains persistent issue to both Provincial Treasury and Kochta and must be urgently addressed. Section 71 of the MFMA requires all municipalities to submit monthly budget statements to Provincial Treasury, while Section 71(7) mandates the Treasury to consolidate and report on the state of these municipalities. The Section 71 consolidated report submitted to the Limpopo legislature in June 2024 revealed the following. 3 municipalities, namely Vembe, Mogalakwena, Tabazimbi, did not submit their data strings. 5 municipalities, Mole, Vembe, Mogalakwena, Tabazimbi, and Waterberg, did not submit household data reports. And 5 municipalities, Greater Giyani, Ephraim Mogale, Fetagome, Tubatse, Tabazimbi, and Waterberg, failed to report amounts owed to creditors. Incorrect and incomplete information in municipal reports must be urgently addressed by Provincial Treasury. Additionally, Provincial Treasury must investigate non-compliance reporting and address poor data and creditor management. A call for change. The crisis directly impacts the daily lives of our people. Life is becoming materially harder for everyone, yet our potential remains vast. Our human capital is exceptional. Goodwill among South Africans is undiminished, and our natural endowments are enormous. The DA has demonstrated that where we govern, we bring about real change. Still hope, attract investment, and inspire officials to perform at their best. We remain optimistic about our economy and our province Limpopo. We believe we can grow much faster than we are now and create hundreds of thousands of new jobs. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member, for really managing our time nicely. We now move to the chair of the committee to close the debate because our friends are not here, the EFF. So we'll jump that and call the chair of the committee. EFF are my friends, you don't know. We are very good friends.
Thank you once again, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to everyone in the House and those who might be watching the procession on social platforms. Honourable Speaker, the quarterly report before that one, this will be the report on the first and the second and the third and the fourth quarter reports for the 2023-2024 financial year. Honourable Speaker, the quarterly reports require institutions to review their performance and progress made over a 3-month period so as to substantiate and communicate their achievement, and also alongside its vision of establishing a competent, ethical, and progressive state. The department diligently worked towards significantly contributing to the growth and prosperity of the province by promoting consistency on intergovernmental planning, managing financial responsibilities, and by providing the necessary support to all department institutions. Once more, Honourable Speaker, throughout the quarters of the 2023-2024 financial year, the department committed itself on enhancing its support to departments, state-owned entities, and municipalities, with emphasis on tailored approach to meet the set targets. The department has also reiterated its commitment to come up with tangible measures to reduce unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure while strengthening the framework of consequence management and intense accountability. Again, Honourable Speaker, Provincial Treasury drafted a clean audit plan and aligned it to the provincial audit plan strategy, which will be reviewed on an annual basis to align itself with the plan of departments. Since its inception, many institutions have improved their set target and audit outcomes. Regular monthly and quarterly meetings are held with the underperforming institutions to check their progress, budget monitoring, and their expenditure patterns. An analysis of the fourth quarter report, as it is the report that, that captures what transpired in the previous quarters, reflect the following audit outcome. 4 departments obtained clean audit. Those departments are legislature, provincial treasury, sports, while 5 unqualified audit outcome, which are social development, public works, no, I'm sorry, pardon me, which are agriculture, LIDET, health, transport, and COGSTA. 2 qualified audit opinions for social development and public works. 5 departments have improved, 5 of them maintained and unqualified, while only 2 have regressed. The parastatals have also improved with 1 outstanding audit outcome, which is leader. On budget management, the department reported that municipalities with unfunded budgets were assisted to develop and implement required budget funding plans. A review of municipal data uploaded on National Treasury website was done monthly to improve the accuracy of the data, which is useful when municipal finances are analyzed. 5 municipalities in the province are sitting with the highest credit, which are Tabazimbi, Modimolle, Mohopong, Bapalaborwa, Musina, and Mogalakwena. The department intervened by assisting them to develop financial recovery plans, which will enable them to service their debts. Provincial Treasury reported that it was in the process of monitoring the monthly debt relief compliance requirements. It was found that all municipalities which are on debt relief has areas of non-compliance, especially low debt collection rate, as well as the inability to limit free supply to indigent households as prescribed. Our unwanted, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure as well. The sessions were held between Provincial Treasury and COGSTA with top 10 municipalities that are higher on expenditure to determine challenges within government structures and operation processes. The department will play its monitoring role over the municipalities as they were advised and given tools on how to reduce unwanted expenditures. Provincial Treasury Honorable Speaker reported that the revenue assessment was conducted as targeted in all the quarters under review. In-year monitoring reports were consolidated as regulated and infrastructure assessment was conducted. Support to local government to optimize municipal infrastructure grants, performance and infrastructure reporting model assessment were conducted in infrastructure delivery department. Once more, Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that the efforts made a recommendation that progress should be provided on infrastructure delivery in the province. In the recent progress report that was submitted to the committee, provincial infrastructure showed improvement, or it's shown improvements in 2023-2024 financial year at 84% from the 56% and 64% of the previous financial years, respectively. It was reported that some provincial infrastructure projects were affected by cost containment measures. However, efforts to accelerate procurement through the use of panel of contractors assisted the process. Honorable Speaker, the Provincial Treasury informed the committee about the guidelines and reporting format which had been developed to assist departments and entities accelerate projects at pre-construction stages to construction stages in order to expedite expenditure. Once again, Honorable Speaker, on revenue management, municipalities' tariffs were reviewed for cost reflectiveness and general valuation for quarterly reconciliations. The committee recommended that officials administering conditional grants should be empowered to advance improvements on expenditure of grants. Such empowerment was deemed necessary as it should assist in detecting early warning signs on under expenditure of grants. According to Provincial Treasury, Honorable Speaker, bilateral meetings were held with the relevant departments to assess the spending strengths and identify challenges that need escalation to national departments. In addition, Honorable Speaker, workshops were also held with relevant officials to ensure that implementation is compliant with various grant frameworks. Once more, Honorable Speaker, in line with the Act, the late 7th Administration Government slogan, which was introduced by the Honorable Premier in an opening address that says, "Dilo di tšhentšhitše, zitzo shandoka, dilo di Afrikaans ek dink hulle kan mooi sê." Allow us to give a round of applause to the department of its continued support to make sure that there is a financial stability and accountability in the province. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Provincial Treasury, after through engagement with the department on several occasions, hereby present the first, the second, and the third, and the fourth quarter reports for financial year 2023-2024 for consideration and adoption in this House. So I submit.
Chair, before you leave, I'm worried that at some point you're referring to the fourth quarter, and I don't know whether it's a slip of a tongue, because we are considering first quarter, second quarter, and the third quarter for record purposes, because we need to record correctly.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. With corrections, let's omit fourth quarter, we're not yet there. We are on the first, the second, and the third quarter. Thank you very much for alerting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. We are now moving to the next report. We will give an opportunity to the MEC to respond. Elegas bete matso a ka selefe. Munno ke moreki. Re tshwantse re mmethele matso.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, my colleagues from EXCO, honorable members of this august house, the legislature, ladies and gentlemen, I really was taking notes, and I may not have to repeat some of the things, but I take note of one thing that I need to correct just before I go on. That during the period under review, 2022-23, the provincial treasury regressed from clean audit to unqualified. I've checked the history, it has never had any qualification. It may have been a slip of pen, but I must indicate, and I do, because when the current audit was done, we were already in there, and we were looking and checking between the 2 years comparatively and see what was the problem. And I can assure you that the reasons for that regression in that year was as a result of the fact that perhaps out of frustration, Provincial Treasury bought IT equipment using the Gauteng registered SITA suppliers, and instead of the Limpopo registered, which was found to be anomalous. And that was the essence of the finding. I really appreciate and learned from the honorable members' comments and issues raised, which I would comfortably say we have taken note of, and indeed, the subsequent year, which is the 2023-24 provincial treasury, went back to its clean audit status. So maybe and let me appreciate all the members' input, including all of you, the GNU as you say, because they were mostly inputs. I was trying to write as fast as I could, just to make sure that I don't leave anyone. But there is one I need to really give attention to. It's with regard to what Honorable Smal has indicated, referring to unwanted expenditure. You know, this expenditure which we always call UIF, and in most cases the I is the most important, unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless. So the bulk of what is said pertained to the irregular expenditure. I would like to assure the House that the department established a committee to consider all applications for irregular expenditure condonement. There be known that in terms of the framework, there are steps to be followed before a condonement is approved. It will depend on a number of factors. It's only the irregular expenditure that is condonable under very strict circumstances. And it's one of the things that we tried to follow and make sure that we condone where condonation is appropriate. Not everything gets condoned, of course. Well, I must admit that the progress is very slow because it is difficult. You know, we have 10 departments, very small department, and I'm happy that this is being observed. Provincial Treasury is a very small department, not only on budget, but even on warm bodies. And it is performing a transversal function. Own corporate work as Treasury and transversal with all other departments. Perhaps I should concur with the chairperson that, and I've seen this has been adopted at national, where even the oversight was elevated to a permanent committee, which in your language in Parliament you call standing committee, because you deal with transversal matters, including the other sphere. The MFMA has placed an additional responsibility because in overseeing both the PFMA and MFMA, it then calls upon us to be able to deal with that scope, which is a little bit bigger. So given this reality, it is not easy to finalize things in time, because the PFMA compliance framework in itself, because it deals with both the entities and the departments, and there will therefore be an MFMA compliance framework, which provincial treasury has to consider. And when condonations are made, you have to do it across the board. Therefore, honorable members, we will assure you that we'll try to expedite this, but it comes at a very serious human effort cost. So sometimes it is record management, sometimes lost documents. That's what you'll get from departments. We can't find this because, you know, for you to adequately deal with a condonation, you need all documents so that you satisfy yourself about what needs to be condoned. It is something that we assure honorable members that we are overcoming, and as you will see when we come to the current reporting period of 2023-24, we would have had more progress than what it was. Without just taking your time, I have, as I said, taken note of all the comments, all matters that will need our attention further, and arising from this, especially the annual report 24, you would, obviously, I don't want to say it was overtaken by events, but I can assure you that if you look at what happened in 2023-24, we have overcome most of the matters that were applicable then, including payment within 30 days. The internal one of Treasury, as well as the transversal one of the whole province. I must indicate that there is a challenge for us to do justice to overseeing municipal finance. You know, there are almost 27 entities or 26, each with its own dynamics as municipalities, both at district and local level, and the 11 entities called the province, plus the public state-owned entities. So what Honorable Mukaba has indicated about alignment, you know, most of the time we report on performance, what we call non-financial report, where you have achieved targets or not, away from financial performance. And one of the members did allude to the fact that the level of achievement when it comes to targets is very low, but the budget or the expenditure is unproportionally very high. This is the dissonance or the disjuncture that we need to start attending to as government, because initially the Auditor General only expresses opinion on finances, but there has come a time where opinions will then be expressed on performance. Because when you have performance management on one side that is not in concurrence with your service delivery processes, then it is who's fooling who here. So I think we will work with the Office of the Premier, which I think is responsible for overall performance, that is service delivery, and while we do together to ensure that there is congruence between financial expenditure and service delivery. And we have to ask the right questions. That's why the reporting format, including quarterly reports, should have both the non-financial as well as the financial part, so that we can have in-year modality of ensuring that we don't wake up towards the end of the financial year or in the middle that, hey, something is not going to happen well there. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I take it that all what was said in the main was mostly to guide us, as well as to ensure that we keep up with what the mandate that is given to us by the PFMA, MFMA, and the Constitution is played to the way that you are expecting, and we will, as we report concurrently in the subsequent reporting cycles, and we'll take note of the comments that have been made so that our full report gives a better picture. We dare not fail. I like these words from the Premier, that it can't be about us dishing monies and having no service delivery. The quarterly labor force survey that has just been released last week, saying that we are the only province that has not done well. I was looking at it from an analytic view. We have so many people employed in the province, but who are unregistered. Why? The nature of our economic activity is mostly on the farms, on the domestics, on all those things that people, on the hospitality environment, on where people can easily employ people without registering them. The labor survey goes to the registered employees. I don't say I don't believe it. It is correct, but there are even more deeper issues. But it should be a challenge for us to say, what could account for this? Is it because of our poor governance? No, not at all. But it is also something that we need to say, let the public purse that we are using help us to achieve certain things on regulatory basis. But recently, the initiative of the government to have an investor conference, let's make sure that the pledges become a reality and see how together with the private sector we can work together to ensure that there is employment. So what am I saying is that it is true, and I agree with honorable members, that at the end of the day, we should be accounting financially while at the same time we are able to account for service delivery, which in the main will also lead to us creating jobs and having employment rate increasing again. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Mreki re no mo fa nako e ka moka. A re mo emiše because a ka tla re tšeela tšhelete. So we give him time. We don't time him, so otherwise we'll have trouble. Honorable Premier, we thought you will have time and opportunity to drink water while we take the Department of Social Development. Or they didn't give you water, sorry. I apologize that they didn't give you water. I apologize, MEC Radzilani. Seemingly the Premier works on the time schedules, so we'll allow Office of the Premier to proceed as planned. I thought we'll put it a bit later, but it looks like it's not possible. Our deal is off, Honorable MEC. I apologize for that. We now proceed to 7.3, and will request the chair of the committee, Honorable Pokani Maudu Johannes, to take the podium.
No, thanks, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Premier, the Deputy Chief Whip, the Provincial Executive Council members present here, the Deputy Chair of Chairs, honorable members in this House, as well as our guests in the gallery. Honorable Speaker, I rise to table the 2023-2024 second quarter report, Office of the Premier, for consideration and adoption as a report of the House. I thank you.
Any seconder to the report? Honorable Mabucha.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I rise to second the consideration and adoption of the second quarter report of the Office of the Premier. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, I once more rise to table the 2023-2024 third quarter report, Office of the Premier, for consideration and adoption as a report of this August House. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Any seconder? Honorable Mantata Mahasela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I, Matlodi Caroline Mantata Mahasela, rise to second the move as presented by Honorable Pukang, our chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, once again, I rise to table the 2023-2024 fourth quarter report, Office of the Premier, for the consideration and adoption by the House. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Any seconder? I've seen Honorable Selane. Honorable Mukweli, she raised her hand. I don't see her. Then she give up. I apologize, ma.
Ke a leboga mme speakera ke tše sebaka se ke dumelelane goba o thekga chairperson ka ge a šetše a presentile the motion. Ke a leboga.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chair Silani. We really appreciate Dr. Honorable Deputy Chair, Chief Whip, you were not here yesterday. We missed you. We're looking at the different doctorates in your absence. And the vet element was missing. That is on a lighter note. So we'll now proceed to the debate. The honorable members opening the debate. It's Honorable Nechifefe Katuchero John.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Greetings to you, our Premier, the honorable members, inclusive of the Executive Committee, the Chief Whip of the Legislature and the entire Whippery, and our distinct guests at the gallery, receive revolutionary greetings. I thank the opportunity afforded to me to open the debate on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Public Administration. The Portfolio Committee on Public Administration, Madam Speaker, has an obligatory and legislative mandate to discharge as an overseer of the Limpopo office of the Premier. The committee is discharging its mandate as empowered by Section 114 of the Constitution of the Republic, coupled with Rule 81 of the standing rules and orders of the legislature. The responsibility of the Portfolio Committee, amongst other things, is to hold the Office of the Premier accountable to its annual performance plan, quarterly and annual reports, to ensure that they are in line with the policies of government and to make sure that they comply with government legislation. Quarterly reports provide committees with the necessary information needed to monitor effective implementation of the programs. Honorable Speaker, please note that the Office of the Premier is the overseer of all the departments in the province, responsible for providing strategic leadership and management for service excellence. Upon intense and thorough discussion with the department on a quarterly basis, the committee was briefed about the vacancy rate on strategic position in the province, both in the provincial and the local spheres. The committee recommended that these vacancies be addressed as a matter of urgency to enable smooth running and delivery of service to our people. The committee also got a brief about the construction of road and storm water infrastructure at Musina Makado Special Economic Zone, which was at 18% of the work done. This was during around April this year, and we believe that there is progress registered now. The committee recommended that the Office of the Premier must, from time to time, report to the committee pertaining to the progress made on special economic zones projects, as they are the catalysts for economic growth and job creation in the province.
These are the projects that have a potential to alleviate poverty amongst communities and improve delivery of service. Honorable Premier, in your inaugural State of the Province address, you highlighted the importance of the SEZ, Makado Musina SEZ, and the Fitahu Mutubatse SEZ, as your milestones and priority for this 7th administration. Now, what is left now is the implementation. The same, can be said about the revitalization of agriculture and the mining industry as the backbone of the economy of this province. If, as government, we could stick to those priorities, revitalizing, resuscitating all these projects, the economy of this province can grow to an extent that it can be able to absorb the challenge of unemployment, to deal with the challenge of unemployment that we are experiencing now. And in all our successive meetings with the Office of the Premier, we have been receiving progress reports. However, much still needs to be done. In all the meetings, we agreed with the Office of the Premier that the devil in the room in this province regarding service delivery is the water provision to our people is a serious challenge. And we agreed that it will be a standing item in all our engagement with the department in terms of getting report as to how far. And however, we should actually indicate that that is the competency of the municipalities under the COCTA. COCTA is the custodian. So the main cause of this challenge of water is also the capacity at the level of our municipalities that are unable to provide water to our people. Honorable Speaker, there is an alarming rate of gender-based violence and femicide incidents happening in the province. The committee noted with concern that the provincial scourge of gender-based violence is not decreasing amidst the efforts of government's coordinated efforts to fighting this pandemic. Office of the Premier, in collaboration with other departments, conducted community feedback session, visited the GBVF and the crime assess shelters in order to get a sense of what is actually happening and how best to intervene in that regard. More than 23,000 cases of gender-based violence has been reported, which increased the crime rate by 5%. With 2,784 victims of crime and violence that receive necessary support by the government. Honorable Speaker, on institutional development support as of the program of Office of the Premier, there were 95 grievance cases and 135 cases of misconduct which were reported. These are cases from all the departments, which is a concern that was also captured in the Public Service Commission's report. Though the department has performed, the Office of the Premier has performed well in terms of implementation of the key priorities as outlined in the annual performance plan. There is a concern about irregular expenditure. And the committee recommended to the department to make a report dealing with the cause of this and the plan to curb this anomaly. The portfolio committee made emphasis on the issue of consequence management in relation to the irregular expenditure. And we should also appreciate the comment by the Treasury, by the MEC Treasury, talking about the irregular expenditure vis-a-vis condonation. Because that is the matter that we have been actually discussing, engaging the Office of the Premier, that there should be a sort of a definition of condonation. When is irregular expenditure condoned? So there was actually an explanation that there should be motivation. And it should be very difficult that, not be easy, that that condonation can just easily be done. The committee made some recommendations to the department or to the Office of the Premier to address the issue of vacancy rate in all government spheres by making sure that those vacancies are filled with capable and qualified individuals, assist municipalities that are in financial distress, ensure that crime-related matters are addressed and the cases of gender-based violence that are in court are also resolved with the agency that they deserve. One more recommendation was to implement comprehensive action plans to address compliance and financial statement issues. This emanated from the fact that the portfolio committee was concerned about the use of consultants by municipalities as they deal with their annual financial statements. That we are now 30 years in this democracy. All the municipalities are supposed to have already built internal systems that enable them to can actually deal with their own annual financial statements instead of outsourcing this service, because it's sort of a misuse of funds. So we need to do away with this practice. So as I conclude, Madam Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Public Administration hereby, request the House to consider and adopt the report as actually already presented by the chairperson of the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bu Nechifefe. We will now proceed to the other speaker, the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Evelyn Rain Wilson.
Thank you, Speaker. The promise of a better quality of life for all South Africans is at the heart of our constitutional democracy. Yet in Limpopo, our economy's ability to create jobs continues to decline.
Honorable Wilson, can we listen to Honorable Mate? Order, Honorable Mate. What is the order? Honorable Wilson, sit down. Let's hear the order. Just sit a bit where you are.
Yes.
Please sit down, Honorable.
Yeah, she's supposed to sit down when we raise a point of order.
Honorable Mate, are you able to stand up?
No.
Okay. I thought you still have a stick today.
No. In the morning, I have difficulties because of the muscles.
Okay, no, it's okay. You can proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I want to check if the member is able to take a question.
Honorable Wilson, are you able to take a question?
Not at the moment, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, can proceed. She's saying she can't take a question.
She can't take a, but she's not going to speak.
Please, let's allow her to proceed, Honorable Member. Proceed, Honorable Wilson. Please proceed. She's not ready to take a question. Please proceed with her speech, Honorable Member.
Yet in Limpopo, our economy's ability to create jobs continues to decline, deepening poverty and inequality despite the province's vast natural wealth. Our potential for sustained growth and improved livelihoods remains untapped, leaving citizens increasingly disillusioned and dissatisfied with the province's direction. Earlier this month, the President and the executive of our Government of National Unity, of which the DA is a partner, met with you, Madam Premier, and the Provincial Executive. The President reaffirmed the GNU's priorities, driving economic growth and job creation, reducing poverty, and building a capable and ethical state. He posed a critical question. What actions must be taken and what obstacles must be overcome to enable Limpopo to leverage its natural endowments and ensure that they are effectively used to drive economic growth? He emphasized the need to identify and resolve structural issues within Limpopo and its municipalities that are hindering investment and job creation. Speaker, the answer to the President's question lies in the province's failing capacity, both provincially and municipally. This troubling reality is starkly illustrated in the 2 quarterly reports before us. The Q2 report reveals that 4 out of 11 of the provincial departments failed to pay suppliers within 30 days. Alarmingly, the issue was also highlighted in the 2022-23 report, demonstrating a persistent inability to address this critical matter. We know that this cripples small business. Both the PFMA and the MFMA require suppliers to be paid within the 30-day period. The report further exposes this dysfunctional state of municipalities. 2 municipalities had no municipal manager. 10 municipalities lacked a chief financial officer, CFO, and 15 of the municipalities were in financial distress. The committee resolved that the Premier must oversee the appointment of CFOs and assist struggling municipalities in improving their financial situations. However, by the Q3 report, this issue remained unresolved, with 11 CFO positions still vacant. For the 2022-23 fiscal year, the Auditor General reported that no municipality in Limpopo had received a clean audit. Additionally, 19% of the municipalities could not meet their financial obligations, and 9 municipalities approved unfunded budgets, further exacerbating their financial instability. The recent events in Makado this week and the sheriff's removal of important equipment has shown the result of this. Speaker, municipalities are the drivers of service delivery. It is also where investments are made and jobs are created. The President said as much when he met with you, Premier. You have the authority to monitor, to assist, and to intervene. The question is, are you? Tabazimbi aside, there are other municipalities in much the same state as Tabazimbi, or very close to it. We can't wait for the collapse. We need to be proactive and not reactive. Speaker, the Q2 report notes that 4 out of 11 departments failed to pay suppliers within the stipulated time period, regardless of the fact that it is a stipulation of the PFMA. Again, this is not new, as the report for 2022-23 reported persistent delays and a growing backlog of unpaid invoices, called for your office to actively monitor departmental compliance. Speaker, the persistent failures in government's accountability and financial management are crippling our province's ability to unlock its full potential. To address these issues, we need decisive and sustained action to build a capable and ethical state that can effectively manage resources, attract investment, and create jobs. Without this, this province risks deepening its economic challenges and betraying its people. The PSC report shows several failings, and the public administration investigations found many complaints with regards to irregular appointments and poor service delivery, and delays in implementing recommendations for substantiated cases. The committee looks forward to see the Premier's action plan when it is submitted to the PSC at the end of December. The continuing reports from department after department on massive irregular expenditures, mainly because of lack of due diligence and proper management, is not acceptable. Heads must now roll. Time for talk has passed. Accountability must now translate into firm and decisive action. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time management, honorable members. We'll not have Honorable Member Magalia de Khotatso. We'll now proceed to Honorable Pokani Maudu Johannes to come and close the debate. Now I can see it's the Maribongwe era. When it's men, the hands are not the same as women. Honorable Smopela was correct yesterday.
Honorable Speaker, greetings once more to your good self, the Honorable Premier, our Honorable Deputy Chief Whip of the Legislature, the members of the Provincial Executive Council present here, the Deputy Chair of Chairs, all Honorable members of the Legislature, and our distinguished guests. Honorable Speaker, this legislature sitting coincides with a period of apprehension and distress that confronts our country. Our province, Limpopo, like other provinces, is affected by the unfortunate scourge of food poisoning that has befallen the South African population. The majority of those who felt the wrath of this scourge are school kids. Honorable Speaker, it should be noted that our province is one of the few that did not experience many death cases resulting from this scourge. It wasn't necessarily because of sheer providence that the death cases are relatively limited in Limpopo, in stark contrast to what eventuated in other provinces. But, Honorable Speaker, it was because of the sterling and efficient leadership that was provided by the Provincial Executive Council, led by the Premier, Honorable Constance Ramatuba, in dealing with those challenges. Honorable Speaker, the initial incidences that happened galvanized the provincial government into action, and difficult but necessary decisions were taken, which ultimately arrested the scourge from proliferating. We thank the Premier and Executive Council for the sterling job they did, ensuring that lives were saved. Honorable Speaker, portfolio committees of the legislature are provisioned to monitor, inquire, and provide the necessary support to departments in relation to their budget, performance, and implementation of their APPs. The Office of the Premier is also constitutionally bound to account to the legislature through the Portfolio Committee on Public Administration. Honorable Speaker, it's crucial to indicate that the Office of the Premier constantly subjects itself to the constitutional imperative that mandate it to make presentation to the Portfolio Committee on Public Administration. And our last encounter with the Office of the Premier was on the 23rd of October, 2024. Honorable Speaker, the Office of the Premier initially had an allocation of about 488 million, which later got adjusted to 460 million for the financial year 2023-2024. Out of the budget given to the Office of the Premier, it was able to spend almost 99% of the allocation, cumulatively speaking. The spending has been consistently good throughout the quarters of the financial year under review. This financial performance of the Office of the Premier aligns fairly well with the achieved targets of the total number that has been set for each quarter. Honorable Speaker, the targets are crafted from 3 programs that constitute the Department of the Office of the Premier, which are, firstly, administration, which is a program that is responsible for providing administrative support to the Premier and the Director General in fulfilling all legislative oversight function and in promoting good corporate governance. Secondly, institutional development support, which ensures that policies, processes, and systems are made available to capacitate the provincial administration to deliver services. And lastly, governance and policy program, which enable the Office of the Premier to deal with planning, monitoring, and evaluation. The Office of the Premier, Honorable Speaker, has performed well in many of the output indicators, and in some instances, it even exceeded the target in some of the sub-programs. One of the tasks that the Premier's office has been doing extremely well is its performance with regard to the payment of all legitimate supply invoices received during the quarters under review, and they were paid within 30 days. This act in itself is applaudable, Honorable Speaker, because it ensures that the service providers that get an opportunity to perform some task can sustain their businesses. Many businesses, more especially small and medium enterprises, have been collapsed by government's reluctance or failure to honor payments timeously. Honorable Speaker, in as much as we appreciate this wonderful work by the Office of the Premier, we still expect the self-same office to ensure that all departments as well as municipalities in the province do as legislatively expected in matters of invoice payments. Honorable Speaker, another aspect that one can write home about with regard to the Office of the Premier is that it has managed to implement the 5 pillars of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. This gives credibility to the government of Limpopo as it minimizes incidences of corruption and helps in establishing a sense of trust in the leadership of the government of Limpopo. The pillars alluded to above includes, amongst others, promotion of whistleblowing, professionalization of the employees, appointment of ethic and risk committees to enhance governance and oversight, and others. As the Committee on Public Administration, we call upon the Premier to ensure that such an attitude against corruption becomes the hallmark of the entirety of the provincial government she is leading. Honorable Speaker, it is worth noting that the Office of the Premier has managed to attain a clean audit outcome in the 2023-2024 financial year. What has enabled the Office of the Premier to move from an unqualified audit opinion to the clean audit outcome that I made reference to? It's because it has religiously and fully implemented all the external audit recommendations made by the Office of the Auditor General. With the audit action plan that was crafted, there was a determination throughout all the quarters to resolve the audit queries. A clean audit outcome will go a long way in resurrecting the long-lost trust in our people and inspire a new spirit of confidence in government leadership. The Office of the Premier, Honorable Speaker, cannot remain the only oasis of excellence in the midst of mediocrity. This office has a constitutional responsibility of monitoring and supporting the entirety of government in the province and to ensure that all and sundry perform their task to the best of their abilities in serving the people of this province. And that is what we expect from the Office of the Premier, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, besides the achievement I've made reference to, there are some instances in which the Office of the Premier did not do well. For instance, with regard to matters of provincial procurement spent on women, youth, people living with disability, and military veterans, evidence of their spend could not be provided, which is attributed to provincial treasury not availing the report. Honorable Speaker, one other area of underachievement relates to implementation of GIS by the departments and the municipalities. It has been established that 6 departments have, with accurate consistency, failed to implement the GIS in all the quarters of 2023-2024. That is attributed to lack of capacity in those departments. The Portfolio Committee calls upon the Office of the Premier to ensure that those departments are provided with the necessary capacity that they lack. Honorable Speaker, it must be noted that when all is said and done, the Office of the Premier, which is the executive department that is at the apex of the government ladder in the province, cannot shirk responsibility of everything that happens in government. It is in this context that the Portfolio Committee would expect that the Office of the Premier should monitor and report on the performance of the province on issues of the priorities of government as conceptualized by the ruling party, the ANC, in its manifesto. In addition to such a report referred to above, the following are the recommendations of the Portfolio Committee that the Office of the Premier should consider. Honorable Speaker, before I go to the recommendations, I also need to deal with an issue raised by Honorable Wilson, who made mention of the fact that the province is failing in terms of its ability to create jobs, and also went further to indicate that municipalities are failing to ensure that CFOs get appointed. It should be noted, Honorable Speaker, that Limpopo is generally a rural province, and it's so difficult for the municipalities to attract people who are qualified with the requisite skills to serve as CFOs. And that cannot be attributed to a failure in governance, because the rural nature of the province, it's by itself an impediment. And it should be also be noted that in the province, the Premier has recently convened an investment conference. And with that investment conference is meant to address these matters that relate to unemployment. This also is a clear indication of the foresight that the leadership of the province has in dealing with matters that affect the province. Of critical importance, again, is the clear indication by the Office of the Premier in ensuring that they implement the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. It has consistently done that in all the quarters of the financial year 2023-2024. This is its endeavor to ensure that they build a capable and ethical state. Honorable Speaker, we then need to note that the leadership of government in the province of Limpopo is doing all within its powers to ensure that it addresses all matters of concern that affect the population of Limpopo. As the Portfolio Committee of Public Administration, we are recommending that the Office of the Premier should continue monitoring and improve its debt collection. Again, we are saying that the Office of the Premier should ensure that departments and municipalities fill all the funded vacancies that they have. Honorable Speaker, we further indicate that there should be, that the Office of the Premier should ensure that the consequence management framework is finalized and implemented to the latter. There should also be continued monitoring and intervention in matters of stagnant or recurring audits in the departments in the province as well as in municipalities, so that there could be an improvement in the audit outcomes. We further recommend that the Office of the Premier should monitor the budget expenditure of all provincial departments for the next quarters to avoid overspending or underspending. The Office of the Premier should also monitor on a quarterly basis the preferential procurement expenditure for all targeted groups in all the departments. Honorable Speaker, we further recommend that the Office of the Premier should forever have the department's vacancy rate under its radar, as there are employees who are leaving the institution through retirements and resignations. Furthermore, the Office of the Premier needs to address the issues of staff members in departments that hold directorship without declaring to the departments. The other recommendation is that the Office of the Premier should,
As you summarize, Chair.
the Office of the Premier should ensure that the posts of CFOs in the municipalities are filled. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, we are recommending that the Office of the Premier need to accelerate the realization of community benefit from special economic zone projects, including Seshego and Nkuankua industrial parks. Honorable Speaker, allow me to move that this report be adopted as report of this August House. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Like I pleaded with you that today I've relaxed the timing. I gave you the time, but unfortunately, Chair, you were going almost 20 minutes now. So let's time ourselves. Yeah, I'm still looking at the watch, but I'm not going to stop anyone. But let's make sure that we don't go beyond the allocated time, but I will still be lenient. I will now take this opportunity to allow, and we shall now call upon the Honorable the Premier, Honorable Dr. Poppy Constance Ramatuba, the Premier of the province of Limpopo, to take the podium to respond to the debate by honorable members. Honorable the Premier. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip, and the Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, members of the Executive Council, and also members of this August House. Let me, on behalf of the Office of the Premier, appreciate especially you, the Chair of our committee, Honorable Pokane, for the support that you have given us, and especially when listening to your recommendation. And one believes that if we are to work together and implement all those recommendations, indeed our province will never be the same again. So we really appreciate. Honorable Nechipepe, yes, we agree fully with you that monitoring and overseeing our department is our responsibility, and we need to work hard towards making sure that it cannot only be the Office of the Premier which gets clean audit, but all our 10 departments
should be able to follow suit. So we appreciate and understanding the challenges that facing our province, but working together with you as a committee, we will go forward. Gender-based violence is equally a pain for all of us, and we are working very hard where we have appointed even an interministerial committee led by the MEC for Social Development, supported by the MEC for Community Safety, Transport and Community Safety, and also the MEC for Health, towards fighting the scourge of gender-based violence, where we are saying it cannot only be government responsibility, but all of us. If we put our heads together, we can be able to defeat gender-based violence. We really call upon all members of this August House to join forces so that the chance of a girl child in Limpopo, because currently report says a girl child has got chances of being raped, 4 times chances of being raped than being educated. For that cannot continue, it's not on. We need to work hard towards defeating that. Honorable Wilson, we just want to emphasize to you that when government of national unity, which you proudly stood here and say you belong to, came up with the government medium-term developmental plan, looking at the 3 priorities of inclusive economic growth and job creation. It's because they have diagnosed all those that you were saying while standing here. We knew exactly that we are a 7th administration that is coming in with serious challenges of economy on its own being non-inclusive. And us as rural province, majority of our people have been left outside the mainstream economy. That is why unemployment rate in our province, despite being rich with all these natural resources, continue to be a challenge. We have to deal with this non-inclusive economy, because even if, Honorable Wilson, municipality deal with what they are supposed to deal, whether it's roads infrastructure, which we're working hard with them, whether it's water provision, but as long as we don't deal with the main challenge here of the economy, not having majority of the people who have been left out in the past participating, it becomes a challenge. So we should not only be blaming the municipalities for the challenges that we are facing, we must also take responsibility ourselves to say, why has the economy of this province only be having those who have always been at an advantage position to be participating? We are also saying we can't talk about economic growth in Limpopo without looking at rural economy itself, without talking about women, children, without black people participating in the economy. If we want to talk the language that talks to our people, let's talk about inclusive economic growth. The growth that will also bring in development that will, in return, provide sustainable jobs. So let's work on this together and not throw stones at the other, because we, all of us here, have got a role to play on the challenges that is facing. We also, through the medium-term development plan, speak about reducing, tackling poverty and reducing the cost of living. We have this as a priority has been identified mainly because of the challenges that you were raising here and affecting our people who majority are still living below the poverty line. So we need to work together towards also achieving that. We are also saying, let's build a capable, ethical, developmental state. And I'm sure you will agree with me that issues that you are raising, professionalization of public servants, it's what we are doing. Honorable Speaker, before I join you here, you might have seen that I was delayed. And some of the members of Executive Council were also delayed, like MEC for Education. Others have not even made it. It's because we are meeting with all our senior management level in the entire province. All of them, all our SMSs are gathered in Polokwane to deal with all these issues, professionalization of our public servant, addressing challenges that are facing our people, which is responding to the question that the president did ask us. We are attending to that, and we are looking into a public servant that will be ethical and that will practice professionalism, that will be inspired to do the best. We acknowledge, and the chairperson, Honorable Pukane, has already responded to you, that it is not easy to attract a chartered accountant to go and work either in Collins Chabani municipality or Blouberg municipality, looking at the rurality of this particular municipality. To attract young professionals, we need to go all out. That is why, as you will see, part of our program through our provincial treasury, we are looking at getting all these young chartered accountants that will be appointed through our treasury, and we will be seconding them to go and build capacity in our municipality. We are the first to acknowledge that our municipalities, most of them, still depend on consultants for even annual financial statement. And we have developed a program, how we can assist. Because we can't just come and say, municipality, stop using consultants. What is the alternative? We've got to help them to build that capacity. And because we are the first one to raise this issue, you are coming here to say, Honorable Premier, you must do this. We are the ones who told you and even told you what we are doing. We're the one who diagnosed the problem, told you the problem, and gave you even the treatment and the medication for this problem. So what you are raising is not new. It's something that we have been raising, and we have came up with a plan on addressing all these issues. Appointing people who are qualified, we have been the first one to deal with it. Dealing with corruption and maladministration, it's our priority, and we are attending to that. So, honorable members, we are saying we want to also appreciate the 6th administration led by our former premier, Ntate Chupu Mathabat, because all these 3 reports that have been tabled here, they were guided through his leadership, and they have made progress, and up until it was evident by Premier's office a clean audit. So that simple means that moving forward, if we build on the progress that has already been made, we can be able to attain all our provincial departments, moving, especially those who have been stagnant with either unqualified, because if we don't take them out of unqualified to a clean audit, they might go either way and regress. We are also going to be looking at those who have been stagnant on qualification as to how do we get them out to move into the clean audit. And that is a work progress, because you can see for yourself that year in, year out, we start to see a number of improvement in this. And of course, lastly, Honorable Speaker, let me also indicate that the work which is done by the team of our MECs and our HODs, as led by the Director General, it is commendable, especially when we come to the current challenge of food poisoning. It is true that in Limpopo, we have lost one 13-year-old from Kuvi, and up to date, we have not lost any single learner. And that has not just happened because of we are hard at work in terms of praying. We are also balancing our prayer with also at the same time doing the actual work. Our teachers who have become deputy mothers and deputy fathers to our children are the ones, for instance, the incidents of Zumeri, even though it was only few learners who were reacting. They were able to take almost all learners who had contact to the hospital. When they get to the health center, the nurses were act proactively, calling the ambulance to say, let's take them to the hospital, even though the symptoms may look minor. So that is when people are working as a collective. And the hospital was able to admit even those that would not necessarily warrant admission, because they did not know what will happen because of the seriousness, how the province take this matter. Hence, even though you would hear 92 alarming number on media, you must know that it could only be few. Actually, when I look at the files of all those learners, it's only 2 who necessarily deserve to be admitted. But we did that as a proactive measure. So the MEC for education, you might have seen, and the MEC for health, they've been in Zumeri to make sure that we do keep this. And not forgetting our mayors, because our mayors are always receiving a backlash. When we had the first case, we call an extended our mayors. And I must indicate, mayors were themselves monitoring the school vendors, advising them to stop selling all these chips. We must appreciate that work, because had that work not been done by our mayors, we are here in provincial office, we would not have been able to save the lives of many children that as a province we've been able to save. So all we are saying is that, and there are other members of this August House who in their respective monitoring site visit have been able to be supportive on this. Some by also being vocal, by also educating the community. All what I'm saying is that by working together, we can be able to do more. And Honorable Wilson, a better life for all in this province of Limpopo, under the ANC-led government, not the GNU, you are going to achieve, you are going to receive it, and we must be able to reassure the people of Limpopo that better life for all, it's not a talk show. Better life for all, it's on its way. Let's do more together. In Limpopo, the slogan remains, let's do more together, because we have the 6 priorities of the ANC manifesto that this provincial government must be able to deliver. While we have got the 3 GNU priority, we still have the 6 priorities of the African National Congress. I can remind you of them, Honorable Wilson, but the fact of the matter, the 3 GNU priorities, you will locate them within the 6 ANC priorities. In Limpopo, we are led by the African National Congress. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier, for responding comprehensively to the reports and the discussion. We are now moving to the the next item, which is item 7.4, where I call the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Social Development to present the report. Honorable Chair, Honorable Mate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby move for the consideration and adoption of the 2023-2024 first quarter report for the Department of Social Development.
Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable Maringa. Is it Nkanyane? Nkonyana. Hi, guys, why are you bubongani bonge? So, Honorable Nkonyana, I apologize. I humbly apologize, Honorable Abednego Nkonyane. I apologize.
Honorable Speaker, I forgive you. I second the move as moved by the Chair of Social Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate that you have accepted my apology. Honorable Chair, you can proceed.
Seconded by Kasongo. Miracles do happen.
A ke bone ke apere di-spectacles. Correct, sa apara it's worse.
Yeah, but you see, Honorable Speaker, for you to refer to him as Honorable Maringa, it means something. We will deal with it outside the chamber.
Oh, please don't help him. I'll be in trouble already.
No, you have assisted us in clarifying what he was disputing. There was a dispute of facts.
Over to you, Chair. Let's
Thank you very
proceed.
much. I hereby move for the consideration and adoption of the 2023-2024 second quarter report for the Department of Social Development.
Thank you so much, Andy Seconda. Honorable Christine Moali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby second the move made by the chairperson of the Portfolio of Social Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we now move to the next report, Chair?
Well, the last second was expected, and there is no dispute. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby move for the consideration and adoption of the 2023-2024 third quarter report for the Department of Social Development.
Any seconder to the report, honorable members? Honorable Mdaka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, Falazam Mdaka, rise to second the motion as raised by the chairperson of the Committee on Social Development, Honorable Simon Matt. I thank you.
Honorable Matt, you know, so when you are still going to debate, don't tell us who's going to sit low. We'll now refer to the speakers list. We'll allow the honorable member who's opening the debate. Are you not done, Honorable Chair? You are done. It's the 3 quarter reports, quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. You are done. Yeah, now we'll allow the honorable member who's opening the debate, Honorable Shaim Posaniboy.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, the Deputy Chief Whip, and members of the WIPARI, members of the Executive Council, the Deputy Chair of Chairs, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, honorable members, allow me to take this opportune moment to greet this august House and its esteemed honorable members. As we meet here today, we understand that South Africa, in particular our province Limpopo, still struggles with inequality and women representation in senior management positions. In the last 3 quarters, women have been underrepresented in the department. Posts that were vacated by women have not yet been filled. Women only held 11 of the funded managerial positions, which is not even 50%. Madam Speaker, the underrepresentation of women in key positions undermines our collective efforts and efforts to dismantle inequality and achieve gender parity. The African National Congress is committed to promoting gender equality, and it is a non-sexist organization that is dedicated to eliminating all forms of discrimination on gender, race, and class. The Portfolio Committee strongly condemns such underrepresentation of women in the department. Honorable members, the Portfolio Committee on Social Development is committed to advancing women's empowerment and participation. We take this immense pride in noting that the number of women who participated in empowerment programs have surpassed the initial target per APP. We also recognize the heroic effort from fruitful collaboration with critical stakeholders, such as the Tutuzela Center and Tlaneki VEP. This collaboration is instrumental in combating GBV against women. We commend the Department of Social Development for its noticeable efforts in fostering an enable environment for women's empowerment. We also look forward to continuing collaboration with relevant stakeholders to ensure women development. The 2023-2024 financial year women development budget was 5281 and only 3656 was used for women empowerment. Empowering women is key to reducing poverty. Regarding the EPWP program, employment opportunities were created through the Department of Social Development, which the Portfolio Committee acknowledged the efforts by the 6th administration. In the first quarter, the department exceeded its initial target of 1,000 employment opportunities. The Department of Social Development created 1,484, and in the second quarter, it surpassed its target of 2,500 by achieving 2,524. As outlined in our NC manifesto, our main priority remains investing in our people, empowering them for a better future. We plead with the department to continue the EPWP program and other possible work opportunities to lessen the rate of unemployment and eradicate poverty in our province. The EPWP employment opportunities have been instrumental in providing work opportunities for the poor and unemployed in our country, while establishing more better and permanent employment opportunities. The Portfolio Committee commends the Limpopo Department of Social Development for being consistent and maintaining a workforce where at least 2% employees are people living with disability. This demonstrates the department's commitment to equality. We further recognize the department's efforts in raising awareness about HIV and AIDS. Awareness programs such as establishing the Know Your Status campaign and collaborating with other stakeholders. Honorable members, the department has managed to increase the number of HIV and AIDS beneficiaries receiving social and behavioral change programs in the third quarter. The initial third quarter target as per APP was 108953, but that was surpassed by 4%, making the actual turnout 113015. This improvement demonstrates how the department is working overtime to tackle the HIV and AIDS pandemic and making sure HIV and AIDS patients receive our support and encouragement. Honorable members, another critical matter and social ill that affects our nation is gender-based violence, which often leads to femicide. In in the year 2020, His Excellency President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, in his speech during the 16 days of activism, the President referred to gender-based violence as the country's second pandemic. As we are about to enter the 16 days of activism against women, our focus should be to ensure that every woman in this province feels safe and all perpetrators are prosecuted without impunity. Studies have also revealed that South Africa is grappling with the highest rates of GBV cases in Africa. Madam Speaker, our beloved province have been found to have the highest call rate of GBV reports. Last December, a final year student of the University of Limpopo, her bright future was cut short by a boyfriend in Mokopane. This all happened just shy of graduation. Honorable members, let us make it known that GBV does not only happen to women and girls, but boys and men are often victims too. Poverty and unemployment are main factors that force women to continue staying in abusive relationships. Women are also forced to endure lifetime abuse from their intimate partners just because of financial dependence. We are pleased to know that the department has produced initiatives to empower and support our women in this province. These initiatives will also assist women to escape abusive relationships. The number of victims of gender-based violence and crime who access sheltering services was 36 in the third quarter, which surpassed the initial target, which was 25. The Department of Social Development in the province should continue rendering such services, which the Portfolio Committee recommends that the department establish more awareness programs about gender-based violence. Child abuse is a heartbreaking topic. Children get abused by people who are supposed to nurture and protect them. Children, both male and female, are sexually assaulted by family members and community members. A recent case occurred in Mafukani village, where a 22-year-old man raped two children under the age of 5 years. According to the reports, the suspect allegedly led the two children to a nearby bush where the mother of one of the children caught him in the act. The Department of Social Development continues with the fight against poverty. People benefiting from the department's food security numbers have immensely increased during the 2023-2024 financial year 3 quarters. It is disappointing that not everyone who needed the food parcels received them. The food parcel contract was not in place and there was insufficient budget. As I conclude, Speaker, as the Portfolio Committee of Social Development, we advise the department to put the food parcel contract in place and possible raise funds for food parcels. No one deserves to go to bed hungry. Ke a leboga.
Thank you so much, Honorable Shai. We can now see that UAT is not in the house. We'll now move to third member, Honorable Hermanas Franz Max.
Honorable Speaker, One of the core functions of the provincial legislature is to make laws. However, these laws become meaningless if there are not effective oversight over the executive to ensure their implementation. Despite the Portfolios Committee consistent efforts to provide guidance to the department, including recommendations to conduct oversight visits to older persons, facilities to assess infrastructure and living conditions, these recommendations seem to have been ignored. The neglect is tragically underscored by the events at the notorious Vultari Old Age and Disability Centre. While it's commendable that the MEC acted swiftly to shut down the centre after the issues were brought to light by the Democratic Alliance and other concerned groups, this House is yet to hear why this centre was allowed to operate illegally under the department's watch, or which officials will face consequent management for dropping the ball. The only logical conclusion is that the department failed to heed to the advice of the Portfolio Committee and neglected its own oversight responsibilities, leading to abuses against some of our most vulnerable citizens, our elderly. Honourable Speaker, the department consistently underspends, particularly in critical areas like children and families, restorative services, and development and research, and that is deeply concerning. This, I must add, Honourable Speaker, is despite receiving budget adjustments. Furthermore, the failure to fill funded positions, particularly in senior management, exposes a worrying lack of urgency and effective planning. The department has a responsibility to fill vacant posts, not only to increase capacity, but also to enhance much needed services and create sustainable jobs in this province. Delays in appointing service providers for essential services, such as food parcel provisions, are simply unacceptable. How can a department claim to prioritize the well-being of vulnerable communities when even basic necessities like food securities are not addressed? The inconsistencies in reporting on the resolution of audit findings raise additional concerns about transparency and accountability. Contradictory reports erode public trust and cast doubt on the department's credibility. How can this House place confidence in the department's recitations when basic facts are not consistent? Honourable Speaker, adding to these concerns is the unprecedented and desperate attempt by the MEC to withdraw the 2023-24 annual report. This maneuver coming after the department has participated in all relevant resolution mechanisms and failed to lodge dispute timeously, and that is nothing short of unscrupulous. It is astonishing that the attempt came only days after the Auditor General's report was finalized. Honourable Speaker, yesterday I've seen that our chairperson is quite vocal, the Honourable Mate. Honourable Speaker, am I covered? But it does not take nonsense. And it did not take nonsense of this department. And I'm not sure if he's going to ask me to withdraw the word nonsense, but I'll stand today on that word, because he did not take the word nonsense. He did not take nonsense from the department. On that day, Honourable Chair, this committee, under the leadership of the Chair, rightly rejected this request. Rightly. Allowing the withdrawal of report.
Honourable Max, the word you are repeating and repeating was ruled on yesterday. Can we withdraw the word nonsense in the House?
Speaker, am I allowed to just address you on that? Remember the context
No,
is important.
I will not allow you to, Honourable Max, that will not be.
Thank you, Speaker.
Please, can you just withdraw?
Speaker.
If you and Honourable Mate are using the word somewhere else, it doesn't have to be brought into the House, because the matter was ruled on yesterday.
Speaker, I will withdraw.
Thank you so much. You
The
can
Honourable
proceed with your
Chairperson
debate.
does take nonsense. Thank you. Allowing
But
the
you are
withdrawal of
repeating, Honourable Max, you can't do that. Please, can you respect the House?
Chair, what other word can I use for the word nonsense?
No. Either you must decide whether you want to proceed with the debate or not, because
I'll withdraw unreservedly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allowing the withdrawal of report that has already been fully debated in the legislature would have undermined the role of the committee and this honourable House if, exercising exercising effective oversight. Honourable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee has done everything within its mandate to ensure oversight and provide the Department with reasonable and achievable recommendations. Yet, these efforts have been met with indifference. The time has come to hold the MEC accountable for the consistent failures of her department. This Honourable House must act decisively to restore public confidence and ensure that vulnerable citizens, particularly the elderly, are protected. Ke a leboga.
Re a leboga. Ba danki. Ba danki re a leboga. We will now proceed to EFF is not here. We'll proceed to Honorable Simon Matsubane Mate to close the debate. So we just appeal that please don't put, members should not bring the politics of portfolio committee to the house. The politics of portfolio committees should remain there. That is where they belong. Thank you so much. Honorable Simon Matsubane Mate is now taking the podium. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members of Executive Council present here today, the Deputy Chief Whip, honorable members of this August House, and I think this morning we're provided with these things, earphones, that I take it for granted that they'll assist us in interpretation. So I would then advise Honorable Marx now to put them on, because in my adopted mother language, we normally say, "Skachela lechulogolo ka mabu." Skachela lechulogolo ka mabu. So in English, they normally say, "Don't taste poison with your tongue." But because I'm in a good mood, because my son is coming back from Spain today, I'm not going to be like yesterday, don't worry. Yesterday, I was wearing a white shirt, and I was not prepared for war because white reflects pure. White, the actual meaning of white, not the other white, reflects pure. And I was pushed into war. Today, I'm wearing brown, ready for war. I'm still provoked, but let me, as son of the Lord, I'll be that. Honorable members, as we meet here today, our country is taking a big initiative in prioritizing the elderly. We must not turn a blind eye on the fact that our elderly people are being abused every day in their own homes and in the hands of those who are supposed to care for them. Our elderly people are not only abused physically, but they are also abused sexually, financially, and emotionally. Elderly people suffer abuse at the hands of their trusted family members at home and caregivers at the old age centers. This behavior is unacceptable and goes against our ethos as Africans. We welcome the department's initiative in relation to the Older Persons Amendment Bill, and Limpopo was the first province in the country to finalize public hearings and submit a mandate to the National Council of Provinces. We were the first in the country. We expect this silence from the other part, not from this part. From this part, yes. The amendment bill is a crucial step towards protecting our elderly persons from all types of abuse, whether it's at home by a family member or in care centers by caregivers. This bill aims to safeguard the rights and well-being of our older persons. Madam Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Social Development held a week of public hearings in October for the amendment consultations in relation to amendment of the Older Persons Act. The recent public participations were held across all the 5 regions of Limpopo. The public participations were a remarkable success, and the significant turnout from our senior citizens to exercise their democratic right was amazing to witness. Elderly people mentioned how much they are suffering in silence as they are robbed and assaulted by their own grandchildren. This makes our elderly people feel like strangers in their own homes. As the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, we also like to commend and applaud the courageous decision taken by our MEC, Bumme Florence Razilani. The MEC shut down, of course, with our support, the Butlari Old Age and Disability Center. The care center in Sukhoses was closed due to its inhuman conditions, which violated the rights of elderly persons in every aspect. Thanks to the MEC, all 19 patients were relocated to different and safe care centers. The African National Congress has always prioritized the elderly, recognizing their significant contribution to the country's democracy. We acknowledge that freedom wouldn't have been achieved if it wasn't the sacrifices made by the elderly. Studies have shown that the number of elderly persons has increased. There are over 5.7 million elderly people in South Africa, and 535,000 of those elderly people are found in Limpopo. It is crucial for us to prioritize their well-being. It is wonderful to see that family members are taking an active role in taking care of their elderly persons. Families taking care of their elderly persons has led to a decrease in the number of elderly people needing residential facilities. Back to business of the day, which of course is a serious business. There has been an increase in the access to community-based care services due to their appealing aging activities that attract elderly persons to form part. The Portfolio Committee seeks to advise the department to create more awareness programs in case they are elderly people who seek residential care and they are unaware that the department offers this kind of services. The initial Q3 target as per APP for the number of elderly persons accessing community-based care and support service was 13,400, but the actual output was 13,911. The Portfolio Committee recommends that the Department of Social Development creates extensive awareness programs to inform elderly people of the available residential care centers. This initiative will ensure that those seeking care are aware of what the department offers to our elderly persons. On substance abuse, drug addiction is a disease that affects people from all occupations, whether rich or poor. Honorable members, the future of our country is in the hands of our youth. Substance abuse has hit the youth harder. The youth has given up on life and signed a contract with illegal addictive drugs and alcohol. Substance abuse has destroyed a lot of families in our province. The abuse of drugs is another pandemic that needs special and extensive attention. Substance abuse is a prolonged sickness that does not choose but can affect anyone. The Portfolio Committee highly applauds the Department of Social Development for the program that is underway in partnership with Northern Mines. The department, in partnership with Northern Mines, plans to build a treatment center in Sekhukhune. The purpose of the treatment facility is to provide rehabilitation for young individuals addicted to drugs. We hope for many more initiatives like this in Limpopo. In all the 3 quarters, the number of people reached through substance abuse prevention program exceeded the target more than 50%. This is a clear indicator that more substance users are willing to get clean, and the department is always available to assist recovering addicts. In the 2nd quarter, the number of service users who access substance use disorder treatment was 245. when the initial quota target was 130. The increased attendance is due to the awareness programs by the Department of Social Development. The 2023-24 budget for substance abuse prevention and rehabilitation was 91,289. The expenditure was 53,488, which means only 59% was used. The portfolio committee pleased with the department to continue with rehabilitation programs for substance addicts. Crime prevention programs play a very crucial role in creating safer communities. These programs empower people to become better community members. Crime prevention programs assist in reducing the crime rate in Limpopo. These initiatives also break the cycle of violence and crime. Programs for people in conflict with the law who have completed diversions are doing very well as more people have formed part. The ANC manifesto stated that we are going to fight and eradicate crime, corruption in our nation, and indeed we are doing just that. The early intervention programs for youth and children provide community-based preventions, which have made a huge difference in the lives of the youth. Through these programs, the youth is taught to distinguish between wrong and right, which prevents them from committing crime. Such programs are designed to provide the youth and children with necessary life tools, support and guidance to be better members of society. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Victim empowerment is vital for victims of crime and abuse. Essential support services offered are counseling, shelter, advocacy, and many more. The department's awareness programs have led to such a high rate of attendance. In the 2023-24 second quarter, the number of victims of crime and violence accessing support service increased. The actual output was 7,952. The output exceeded the target by 527. This shows that people have been reporting cases. In the 2023-24 quarters, the number of family members participating in family preservation services has decreased. The decrease is an indication that most family members are reluctant to attend these sessions. The department should create awareness programs about the importance of this preservation and parenting programs. Many children find themselves in the foster care system due to unforeseen circumstances. The department has quite many children in the foster care system. This shows that the department works very well with children's courts and NPOs. Children are removed in unsafe homes and put in children's homes or placed with foster families where their safety is guaranteed. The number of children in foster care who were reunited with their families is very low. Reasons being that children are not ready to be reunited with their families. Only 67% of the AGSA audit findings were resolved. There are still 6 outstanding matters which were not resolved as per third quarter report, and we hope and remain confident that such outstanding matters would be resolved. Only 71% of the budget was spent, and we received a top-up or adjustment in parliamentary language, adjustment yesterday, which will also be put into good use. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, one member stood before this podium and consistently persisted on using an unparliamentary language, which is his presentation when referred to me. It reflected a sign of patronization. I want to put it on record in this August House that there is no amount of patronization that will make us to deviate from our responsibilities. We will continue to play oversight without fear or favor, even though we don't need patronization. But of course, Madam Speaker, one would agree, lastly, in conclusion, that when there is sense, we will take that sense. But when there is any other thing that is not sense, we will not take it. I thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We'll now proceed to request the Honorable, the MEC Bomme Florence Fulufelo Radzilani, the MEC for Department of Social Development, to respond to the debate by the honorable members.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To our Honorable Premier in absentia, MECs who are here, the Deputy Chief Whip, the Deputy Chair of Chairs, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Social Development, and all members of the Portfolio Committee, members of this august House. Let me start by appreciating the hard work done by the members of the Portfolio Committee. We will always subject ourselves to your guidance and advices in the process of executing our constitutional mandate as the department. Honorable Speaker, we acknowledge the high vacancy rate of the department. If members recall, when I was presenting before this august House, I indicated that we are a department with a 48 staff complement. We are in the process of filling vacant positions in the department. And of course, we acknowledge the delay, which was caused by the fact that we had to put our house in order, especially when it comes to stabilizing the budget allocated to cater for COEs, so that we don't create future problems for ourselves. And Honorable Speaker, we have swiftly advertised some of key positions, and importantly, we will be biased towards equity, particularly at senior management level, where women representation remains at an undesired level. Because if we want to talk about a true women empowerment, we must ensure that women occupy space, especially when it comes to areas where decisions are taken. We are equally concerned, Honorable Speaker, about the gender-based violence and femicide, the issue that the Honorable Premier has already touched on. And as a result, we have instituted a research project. And through this research, we want to believe that some of the factors that causes this gender-based violence and femicide are addressed in a proper way. We have partnered as well with institutions of higher learning. We have just received a report from the University of Limpopo, where they've done a scientific research which point out clearly areas that need our attention as the Department of Social Development. This morning, I was part of the NCOP virtually, where the Minister of the Department, Minister Sisisi Tolashe, was answering questions from the honorable members. And the issue of gender-based violence and femicide was raised sharply. And the minister indicated that this time we are going to get it right because we have the law in place. It is no longer just talking without being guided by the legislation. So the law has been passed at national parliament. Honorable Speaker, it is true that the department acted swiftly on Butlari and closed it down, and currently all beneficiaries who opted to be in the care of government are placed in various centers and are doing very well. But I'm equally disappointed, Honorable Speaker, especially a learned honorable member, Honorable Marx, want to mislead this House. We do have the records, the names of the people who elevated the matter to the department, and the person does not even belong to the Democratic Alliance. He's part of the ruling party. If you want me to provide the members of the portfolio committee with the name of the whistleblower, I can do that because on Wednesday, we are meeting honorable members. So it is not coming from the Democratic Alliance. You can't mislead this House.
Honorable MEC.
You can't mislead this House.
Honorable MEC. I want to call Honorable Marx to order. Please don't disrupt the speech. According to the rules of this House, if you have got a matter to raise, you raise a hand. But you don't just interrupt the speech when it is on. Please, let's follow the rules of the
Thank
House.
you so much, Honorable Speaker, for protecting me. But it will be also important for me to report to this August House that, of course, in the province, we still have got a number of centers that are operating illegally. Hence, we are still hard at work to make sure that our people are not ill-treated under our watch. Where people will be found to operate illegally, we won't hesitate to take actions as long as it will be about protecting our people. The issue that the department continues to submit inconsistent report, I also want to really challenge that, Honorable Speaker, on the basis that our request, our submission to this August House, requesting the withdrawal of the annual performance report, it was after we have done a thorough consultation with the Office of the Premier and Provincial Treasury, because we had an issue with the Auditor General, Honorable Speaker, the matter that we are still processing. The National Department transfer the building assets to the department without following the Public Finance Management Act, something that we have raised with the AG, because we learned through the AG that certain things were not done properly. And we can't just receive without even making sure that we engage the AG on the matter, of course being assisted by the Premier and Provincial Treasury. Because failure to address this matter, it will create future problems for this department. Hence, we are saying we are engaging on the matter, and this is the matter concerning the annual performance plan. But if you check in terms of the issues that the portfolio committee members were supposed to deliberate on today, has got nothing to do with that. And honorable member who raised this matter is fully aware that we are still engaging with the portfolio committee members. As I'm about to conclude, Honorable Speaker, I also want to say the department acknowledges the advice from the portfolio committee's advice and will ensure that through our marketing, communication, and outreach programs, we will reach out to older persons and inform them accordingly about the residential facilities run by government, which will provide safety and comfort to them. So other issues, Honorable Speaker, are issues concerning the audit outcome, which briefly I can indicate that we have instituted a bi-weekly audit steering committee meetings so that we deal with this legacy audit findings that keeps on recurring from time to time. We are hard at work, and we want to believe that working together with members of the portfolio committee who are there, who are going to also as well respect their roles as members of the committee, we will be able to get this department right. We will be able to execute our mandate without any difficulty. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. We think you tried as much as you can to comprehensively respond to the
Honorable
debate.
Speaker, my raise on a point of order in terms of Rule 96.
What is the rule?
Rule 96.
Yes.
Explanation. An explanation during a debate is allowed only when a material part of a member's speech has been misquoted or misunderstood. I would like to offer an explanation as to how the MEC misunderstood my speech. Honourable Speaker, I've said the following. These issues were brought to light by the Democratic Alliance and other concerned groups. At no stage did we say that we are the whistleblowers. We brought it to light. And we have issued media statements, at least 2 of them, one from National, one from myself, and therefore I respectfully submit to this House and to you, Speaker, that I did not mislead this House, and I request that the MEC withdraw that I've misled this House. And I request you to uphold the point.
Order. Order.
I will need to rule you out of order, even though you have quoted the correct rule. There's the difference between what you and the MEC have said. You said you are the first person, the first people as the DA to raise the matter.
On a point of order, Speaker.
And
I'm raising on point 96
no,
because
yes.
you are now misquoting me. I'll read my speech
can
again.
I conclude? You can't interrupt me.
I didn't
when
say the first.
You
That is
raised.
why,
Please sit down.
with all due respect.
I have not given you an opportunity to speak. Please sit down. Allow me to conclude, and you can say I didn't. Yes. Can I repeat what I'm saying? You quoted the right rule that you feel you were misquoted. You said on your debate, because we're all listening, that you were the first people to raise the matter with the MEC, and the MEC has responded to it. You thank her. The MEC says, yes, you raised the matter, but you were not the first people to raise the matter. And she said, if you want more explanation on the matter, she will provide it in the portfolio committee. I will therefore suggest that this matter is closed, cannot be debated on. If it needs to be deliberated, we refer it back to the portfolio committee to deliberate it there. The matter is closed. I will not allow anyone to speak on the matter. No, not on the matter. On the matter, I've ruled. On the matter, I've ruled. No, I've ruled on the matter. You can raise a point of order on another matter. On the matter, I've ruled. Yes, what is the another matter?
Speaker, I raise on another matter. It's also on Rule 96. Because
Yes.
you have misquoted me, Speaker. I've never said the first, never ever. And I refer you to the Hansard. I please, Honourable Speaker, may I be respected in this House. I'm raising it in terms.
But you are not the speaker.
Speaker,
You
I'm
can't
referring-
undermine me.
I'm
When
referring-
other people undermine you, you feel bad.
Speaker, I've never said the first. And I respectfully refer you to the answer. And I only want you to go and peruse the
Honorable
answer.
Marx, you are out of order. Sit
You've
down.
misquoted me, Speaker.
No, you are out of order. I'm not taking the order from you. I've ruled on the matter. The matter is now closed. I will not refer it to any Hansard. I've ruled on the matter. The matter is closed.
I'm raising
Honorable the
on
Deputy Chief Whip.
point 92. Oh.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Speaker. I think you are correct on your ruling. We need to respect both the decorum and the presidium of this House. But I think, Honorable Speaker, we need to arrange an induction workshop for the new members because they are still new, they've never been subjected. That's why he's acting like a lawyer in a court. That's my submission.
Thank you, Honorable the Deputy Chief Whip. The third induction workshop will take place the beginning of the 2025. We hope those members will participate in the induction workshop. Honorable Mate, when the Deputy Chief Whip speaks, closes the debate. No, once the Deputy Chief Whip is the Deputy Chief Whip of the House. Once he speaks, he closes the matter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Mate. Thank you. We'll now proceed to 7.5. The debate of 7.5, it's a very important debate. It affects a number of departments. We hope that the committee will be able to do justice, and we hope the MECs present in the sitting will be able to handle the matter, even on behalf of the other MECs that might not be here, because unfortunately, even the leader of government business is not here. So I'm just pleading that as and when the debate is on, MECs, please assist on the matters that you think you can be able to take for your colleagues so that the matter can be attended to. We are now on the consideration of the adoption of the following report of the Standing Committee of Public Participation and Petitions. Committee Chair. While it's still coming to the front, just to inform the House that the report is in respect to the referrals as contemplated in subsection 2 and 3 of Limpopo Petitions Bill Act of 2003, number 4 of 2003, from August 2023 to December 2023. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier in absentia, members of the Executive Council, the Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, honorable members present, our guests on the gallery, please receive my warm greetings. Madam Speaker, I hereby table the report of the Standing Committee on Public Participation and Petition for consideration and adoption by this August House. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chair. Can we get the seconder? Honorable Swapela.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. I stand to second the adoption of the report of the Standing Committee as presented by the Chair.
Thank you so much. We'll now refer to the speakers list. The member who's opening the debate is Honorable Machete Petule Pesi. You are opening the debate. I'm not sure you want to debate from where you're sitting or you want to come to the front. You have got an option.
No, thanks for the gesture. Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Chair, Deputy Chief Whip, MEC present, all protocol observed. I am privileged to be afforded this opportunity to address this August House. The Standing Committee on Petitions and Public Participation is guided and mandated by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Act 101 of 1996, the Petitions Act number 4 of 2003, and other related legislations and laws, has been given power to oversee, adjudicate on the petitions. It also has the powers to subpoena any person for the purpose of giving evidence before this committee. Before I proceed, Madam Speaker, it's important that in the course of delivery of the statement, one would, of course, try to give meaning so that we are able to be at par in terms of what is expected of us. The Freedom Charter states clearly when it pronounced itself by saying, the people shall govern, and further citing that all the people shall be entitled to take part in the administration of the country. It's important to note that the people shall govern, it's a first core principle of the Freedom Charter, and the rest shall follow. And as we speak again with regard to the Freedom Charter, we should understand that it is a statement of principles, as I indicated earlier, through the South African Congress of Alliance. It's important that we also take note of that. The Freedom Charter was adopted at Kliptown in 1955, and our democracy was ushered in 1994. South Africa today is in democracy, and all the sectors of our society should explore all the avenues in order to be assisted. The Standing Committee on the Petitions and Public Participation is one of the components where the masses are writing in order to express their dissatisfaction about or in all spheres of government, be it in local, provincial, national, not limited to the state-owned entities and other bodies of the state. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the primary purpose of the committee when conducting sittings is to allow the petitioners and respondents to reach desired and amicable solutions to the challenges that the complainants are confronting with at all levels. In simpler terms, is to adjudicate on all the petitions, and once resolved, then close them. We then request honorable members to not undermine the committee, especially when being subpoenaed. At some stage, one way or another, members of this very august house may be subpoenaed or summoned by the committee to lead evidence in certain matters that may as well be affecting individual or as collective. And we think that that should be taken into consideration. Madam Speaker, the committee managed to attend 40 petitions, and others are still in the progress of adjudication. The petitioners are individuals, groups, or fora that represent the communities, representatives from traditional leadership, business people, and young people. Mainly, the petitions are mostly about service delivery, and I would want us to underline service delivery. And the most petitions fear is local government because it's more closer to the masses of the people. Government departments that are mostly affected are Coxter, about the housing popularly known as the RDP, and also the Department of Public Works as a result of the conditions of our roads. In the main, most of the petitions revolve around the set sphere of government and the departments. Honorable members, after adjudicating and closing most of the petitions, the committee shall prioritize oversight visits, which is one of the key factors that will trace progress on the same that were closed as a result of evidence that was presented during the committee sittings. Having said that, without any doubt, the National Democratic Revolution is on course. And I must just provide a description of the National Democratic Revolution, that it is a process by which the majority or the people benefit when the revolution is victorious. And we have witnessed that by 1994, that indeed the revolution was victorious, and therefore our people must benefit. Madam Speaker, the African National Congress wishes to state that the institutions should prioritize petitions or the grievances of the communities before they can reach a stage where it comes at this level of the Standing Committee on Petitions and Public Participation, and be able to have capacity to deal or resolve on them. Because it is a fact that the people of this province have voted the ANC into power so that the aspiration shall be realized. They believe that it has a solution to each and every problem, and we should never underestimate the electorate, because they are the ones that mandated us to serve them, and it is important that in the course of our work, at all material times, we should respond positively to the needs and aspirations of our people. Therefore, we can call upon all political leadership of all the institutions to take this matter into consideration, because we are in the process of creating the National Democratic Society, and I think it's proper that we should also provide a description, a conscious construction dependent on conscious action by an advanced section of our society. And by virtue of being part of this 7 administration, we constitute that advanced section or detachment. And therefore, at all material times, we must be seen to be responsive to the needs of the people, because we are indeed consciously constructing and through our conscious actions, because it's an ideal situation that we want to create, which is the National Democratic Society. It's an ideal situation, and we believe that in every step that we took, we are consciously building, and we will be able to objectively arrive at that desired situation. As we gravitate towards the end, let us eradicate our province, and we do not to fail. In conclusion, and I deliberately did not want to speak about in conclusion, the Standing Committee on Petition and Public Participation is a key component in assisting the masses of our people with their grievances. In that way, democracy is more maturing, because these kind of bodies are a good test for our constitutional democracy. We wish to resolve and close all the petitions that are there before the committee. In that way, we will be playing a pivotal role in intervening on behalf of the communities that we are leading. And I would want to believe that I have represented the committee very well in terms of the prototype that we received. We tried our best to try and ensure that we are able to build on the prototype, because if we don't do that, we might fall a victim of Paulo Freire, who would then ask ourselves question, you just consume without producing, and that becomes very dangerous. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Machete, for opening the debate. We will now allow Honorable Hermanas Franz Max to continue with the debate.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, the Limpopo Petitions Act aims to encourage and facilitate public participation in governments, particularly amongst community historically excluded politically, socially, and economically. The Act emphasizes enhancing democracy through accountability and transparency, while respecting the rights of petitioners as well as those who are affected by the petitions. Honourable Speaker, it's evident that the Petitions Committee has been somewhat effective despite the challenges that we faced, and this House needs to acknowledge it. The time does not permit to show all the good of this committee, but for example, it's deeply concerning that Ms. Ruth Mosalana's waited 15 years to be allocated a RDP house. Just think about it, 15 years to be an RDP house, and then she's jumped from 900 to 600 and back. Furthermore, it is however hard-earning that Ms. Mosalani placed the trust in this committee to resolve her issue, and I sincerely hope that she will soon have a home she so desperately needs. Similarly, it was disheartening to learn that Ms. Sarah Mamata, a single parent of 9 children, has not benefited from an RDP house. But Speaker, she actually have a RDP house registered in her name, but she was unable to benefit it. It is commendable that this committee addressed the petition in such a way to bring about a resolution that could satisfy her needs. Honorable Speaker, unlike other committees whose targets are normally determined internally, the targets of the petition committee in practice are not determined by us or internally, but actually by the public. The number of petitions submitted reflects the trust that the public places in this committee. Fewer petitions may indicate a lack of public trust, while an increase suggests that the public's growing faith in the committee's address their grievances. Honorable Speaker, I herewith publicly commit to serving as ambassador of this committee by educating committees about the petition process and encouraging them to bring these issues forward. Honorable Speaker, it's a no-brainer that when adjudication petitions, party politics should not interfere. In this regard, I commend our chairperson, Honorable Chimani Matabogu, for fearlessly holding departments and municipalities accountable during the hearings that I was part of. He has done so impartially, even when the officials involved are his colleagues on the right. Honorable Speaker, I pledge my continued support for the chairperson in fulfilling the objectives of the Act, provided he maintains his commitment to fighting for the rights of petitioners. Despite its successes, the committee unfortunately struggles to ensure accountability from municipalities and provincial departments. Many of these entities fail to submit reports timeously or at all, blatantly ignoring and contravening the clear provisions of the Act. This deliberate negligence hampers the committee's ability to fulfill its duties. The root of this, Honorable Speaker, lies in a loophole of the Act, and that is that failure to submit reports is not classified as a criminal offense. So they don't need to submit reports because there's no consequence. Honorable Speaker, therefore, to address this, I've submitted a private member's bill this week for certification, which introduce criminal sanctions for non-compliance with the reporting requirement of the Act. I trust that the chairperson and my fellow committee members will support this initiative. By converting this bill into the law, we can ensure that the municipalities and the departments are held accountable, thereby strengthening the effectiveness of this Petitions Act and, by extension, our committee. Honorable Speaker, the Petitions Act is an invaluable tool for enhancing democracy in Limpopo. It allows citizens to voice their grievances and ensures their concerns are addressed with transparency and fairness. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, let us continue to use this tool to respect and uphold the rights of our petitioners while fostering accountability and trust in governments. Ria Leboga.
Baya dankie. We now proceed to the chair of the committee because unfortunately the EFF is not here. We'll proceed to the chair of the committee, Honorable Shimane Morris Mataboge, the chair of the Standing Committee on Public Participation and Petitions, to close the debate. Ke a bona gore matsogo a selective. Because it's the Malibongwe era, so over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm standing on the protocol that has already been established. Let me take this moment and thank the Madam Speaker for giving me an opportunity to address this august House. We are going to present this report snippets that forms part of the overall or comprehensive report that starts from August 2023 to December 2023. But before that, Madam Speaker, we are gathered in this manner in this August House few days after the G20 summit that was hosted in Brazil, where our country, South Africa, has taken over the G20 presidency from Brazil and will host the 2025 summit in Johannesburg. Madam Speaker, We believe our government, especially the head of state, His Excellency Honorable President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, shall navigate the correct path to address our socio-economic challenges that we are facing in our country. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the Standing Committee on Public Participation and Petition is one of the components that are strengthening our democracy. Ordinary members of the public, as petitioners or complainants, are able to interact with the democratic government in all three spheres of government, as well as other institutions of state, in order to find each other on any matter that is in the jurisdiction of the committee. Because the committee can actually deal with any matter that falls within its jurisdiction. Any person can complain or write a petition to the committee as long as it falls within the jurisdiction. Madam Speaker, the committee managed to conduct 2 successful educational workshops held from the 1st September 2023 at Ganchabeleng, Taukapula Tribal Office, Fetakomo Tubatsi Local Municipality in Sekhukhune District. And the 15th of November 2023 at Minga Village, Collins Chabane, Local Municipality in Vembe District. An education outreach session was arranged for 8 November 2023, Mashishimale Tribal Office, Bapalabora Local Municipality in Mopane District, and was however postponed due to by-elections at Ephraim Mokhale Local Municipality in Sekhukhune District. In the period under review, honorable members, the committee was confronted with a backlog of petitions from the previous year, and in that vein, we then established that we needed to move with speed to adjudicate on the petitions per district and make sure that we exhaust them timelessly. The petitions were adjudicated as follows. Capricorn had 18, Sekhukhune 8, and 1 petition is closed of that Sekhukhune. Vembe 6, Waterberg 4, Mopane 4, and 3 of the petitions of Mopane are closed. All the petitions are still in progress and will be adjudicated. Madam Speaker, let me indicate that the committee is doing very well in making sure that it listens and adjudicates on all the petitions before it. However, there are some of the slight pointers that we need to present before this August House, and other members have actually indicated about that. And those are, and I must emphasize that the committee has the power to subpoena or invite any person to appear before it. In particular, the political leadership of the institutions might be invited or subpoenaed by the committee. But the principle that the decision that has been taken by the committee is that we would prefer that it should be members at the political level or at a senior administrative position. And the whole intention of that is just to make sure these are the people that might be in a position to take decisions on behalf of the institution. Now the problem is, as and when the political leadership and the senior administrative leadership fail to appear for some other reasons, it affects the work of the committee, because you will find at some stage we postpone the petitions in front of the petitioners, which is not good. Therefore, it has to force the committee also to subpoena either the political leadership and the HOD or the head of the administration to appear before the committee. So those are some of the challenges that we actually are confronted by the committee. But before the committee can sit for the petitions and the institutions are informed on time to submit the reports at the given time frame, in most cases, we receive the reports late, or sometimes we don't actually get the reports. But in terms of the Petitions Act that members have been quoting, when the matter is actually being referred to any institutions, the committee expect that either the department or that institution must actually respond to our referrals within 4 weeks. And we expect, we want to appeal with the departments and other institutions to comply with that because it's actually stipulated in the Act. Madam Speaker, these are a few and some of the challenges that really we are encountering as the committee. Madam Speaker, we would like to submit that after all the necessary measures have been taken to adjudicate the petitions, there are some few recommendations that might assist the process, and they are as follows. Synergy of plans between the departments and municipalities should be strengthened to enhance service delivery. Because when there is no that synergy, that's where the problem is, and it actually becomes very difficult to provide services or service delivery to our people. The departments and municipalities should voluntarily follow up on committee resolutions. We don't expect institutions or municipalities or the departments to wait for the standing committee to make follow-ups on them, on the referrals that have been made to them. The departments and municipalities should respond timely to the petitions for effective adjudications. So we actually pleading with all the institutions so that when we refer the matter, because these are the matters that the petitioners has actually tried to raise either municipalities and they could not get joy, then they had no options but also to elevate it to the standing committee because they still have hope to the standing committee of the legislature to attend to their issues. The MECs and mayors should develop a sound plan to ensure stakeholder management in an endeavor to avoid risk of community protest. Because as much as we attend to this petition, petitions, that's going to maximize the protest that might be there in our communities or to the departments. The capacity should be strengthened in departments and municipalities to directly manage grievances and to be responsive to community issues. What we are saying is that once the employees at the level of the departments or the municipalities are capacitated to be able also to deal with these petitions, that's going also to minimize the grievances and also just to respond or acknowledge the letters from the petitioners, it actually gives confidence to our people. There must be a closer cooperation between the municipalities and traditional leaders to enhance service delivery. In most of the petitions that we received, the traditional leaders some complaints about the cooperations of the municipalities, and therefore there is a need to close that gap between the municipalities and the traditional leaders. Therefore, the emphasis of IGR is needed so that the relationship between them. Consequence management is needed to enhance work ethics in departments and municipalities. Because you might find that employees actually getting these petitions, they're actually doing nothing about it, and there's no consequence management. So therefore, you will have this kind of people doing or as they wishes or not doing anything completely. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, the ANC has full confidence in the Standing Committee for the fact that it allows members of the communities to participate in their government, and it will strengthen the relationship between the members of the communities and their government. Democracy that was ushered in 1994 is actually a participatory and people-centered, but we should not actually take long to address issues of the petitioners because this might also anger the participants and ultimately cause unnecessary protest amongst our communities. But I must also emphasize and appreciate that on behalf of the committee that the level of the commitment that we have actually received and the cooperations that we have actually received from our MECs who are actually the political heads of the department. Majority of the issues that has been raised, and I must just quickly say, MEC Folidet appeared before the committee and the issues that related to Folidet were actually resolved. The MEC of Social Development appeared and the MEC of Coxter, and all the issues that were also raised by our petitioners, we were able also to resolve them in the form of mediations because there was also a political will from the members of the Executive Council that they were there on behalf of their departments. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I therefore move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you so much, Honorable Maurice Mataboge, for the conclusion of the debate. I would instead not give all the MECs to respond, but at least if the leader of government business would be here, I would want him to respond, but now MECs can decide who can respond on your behalf. MEC Honorable Bome Ramakanya, Lirul Ramakanya, Nyamofe Mabongo Lirul Ramakanya, responding on behalf of EXCO.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet you, Skoni, this afternoon, and also greet the honorable members of the August
Scone,
House.
it's a secret.
Sorry. Let me also take this time and greet the honorable MECs that are in the House, the chairperson of the Committee for Petitions, and also the honorable members of the committee. But on behalf of the MECs that have appeared and those that have written the reply to the petition, we want to start by appreciating the work and the communication and the easy way of engagement that the committee has introduced towards the executive committee. We want to take this time and thank you, Chairperson, and the members. Secondly, we want to also acknowledge that the recommendations that have been given, we want to commit that the MECs that are affected, especially Coxter, Public Works, and those that have appeared as indicated by the chair, will, if it includes municipalities and other stakeholders, sign off the covering letter on behalf of the municipalities to the committee in terms of the update and the reports that are needed. So, Honorable Speaker, I think the members of the committee have all agreed that this is about public participation, this is about the people shall govern, and we should acknowledge that reversing the years of apartheid where our people have been denied identity. We have got a problem with Home Affairs. We have noted the specific Department of Transport and Community Safety will also engage Home Affairs, but also we are about reversing the disadvantage of our people not having land, which delays them to have an RDP house, but we are hard at work to make sure that those that stole the land is restituted back to the owners. We want to thank the committee because the increase of numbers of the petition to the committee, it's all about the increase of trust of people believing that in Limpopo, their voice can work for them and the ANC-led government is in charge and will give support where it is due. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. From our side, as the speakership, we applaud the Petitions Committee for the good work done, but we'll request, if possible, petitioners, because they look at this and watch the sitting live, it will be nice when you highlight those cases, especially which ones that are closed, where you are able to highlight this case was raised with you and it was resolved successfully, so that they can realize the good work that you are doing. So as and when next reports are coming, please consider mention some of those good stories to tell, that indeed this committee has achieved the enormous work that you really get involved. And we really appreciate this committee will continue to be supported, because the people of the province have confidence in it that they can assist to ensure that their problems are resolved. On that note, we are now going to item 8, announcements. There's only one announcement: lunch is served. Item 9, the House is adjourned to Thursday, 28 November 2024 at the Leboa-Kgomo Legislative Chamber at 10 o'clock. On that note, the House stands adjourned. Thank you so much.